Good Tuesday morning. Happy Festivus, everybody.
Happy Festivus, Gary Sharp.
You're familiar with Festivus, right?
I'm assuming it's just the day before the day before. Is it?
Yeah, I wasn't giving him any credit. I knew he wouldn't get that.
Well, because it's
he'd be all about it.
It's from a show that a lot
Okay.
of us watch, but we've tried to get you to watch it.
Yeah.
But
Landman?
today,
I Love Lucy.
no,
Is
not
that from
Landman.
Landman? No.
not Landman.
Oh, is it from?
Landman's
Oh,
getting
wait,
pretty
wait,
good,
wait,
by
wait,
the
wait,
way.
wait. I know. Is it from Seinfeld?
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
there he is.
I thought there would be like a general pop culture about Festivus, because today is Festivus. We'll have the airing of grievances, the feats of strength with all of you on our last live show before the 5th of January. Now, we are in negotiations with our people to possibly do a online-only show on the 2nd,
Yes.
because January 2nd will be a big day around here. But this is the last live show. So if you have airing of grievances with us over the past year, this is your chance to get them in. Get them off your chest. Because we have a busy show to say goodbye to 2025 before we load up for a monster 2026. It's been another great year. 1620 The Zone. The Chiefs are doomed this year, but they're moving into a dome in 6 years. Notre Dame and USC.
Ugh.
Welcome to conference realignment. Also, welcome to possibly the Super Bowl champion San Francisco 49ers.
Whoa.
Looked pretty good last night. Looked pretty good.
Gary,
48 points.
during the game, I looked at their Super Bowl odds,
Yeah.
and I thought of making the quick trip out to Iowa to go ahead and hammer it before
And it is a quick trip.
it got lowered. It's now down to plus 1,300. It moved
Yeah.
from plus 1,800 to plus 1,300 by beating by the way, like 8-6 Colts team that has been floundering with Phillip Rivers. That just shows you how good they
No.
Bill played great.
Hold on. I am not. You know what?
He looked great.
I
He
got
looked
the
great.
first. No,
He
I got
looked
that.
great.
No,
He looked
no,
great. He
no,
looked
you
great.
went there. You can't go back.
No, I can't. I can't admit that he did play very well.
So wait a minute. We're gonna have the first airing of grievances with you. Yes, they were 7-1, and now they're 8-7, and they're 0-2. They've lost to Seattle and San Francisco, but Uncle Rico has played pretty well considering he's 44 years of age
I
and
agree.
the arm strength is not there. So my first airing of the grievance this morning is against you and your slander against Phillip Rivers. Creighton goes wire to last night, and they covered against Utah Tech. Nebraska basketball is moving on up. And more guys are moving out of Nebraska football, but a key one could be moving in sooner than later. Yeah,
Okay,
all of
all
that on
right.
the show this morning. And you never know what's going to happen. This is why you have to watch 1620 The Zone. All right? We got a banger of a lineup, 6A to 6P. We got lots of stuff for you. Home of the Huskers, home of the Jays, home of the Mavs.
We're home of actually one of those teams.
We are. There are a lot of people in this market. And no, you know what? I mean, because our signal is similar to the actual affiliate of Nebraska Athletics in this town.
Sure, yes.
Most people consider us the home of the Huskers, so we are the home of the Huskers, and we'll talk plenty about the Huskers today because it always is about the Huskers. But you never know when you listen to this radio station what is going to happen. Maybe we will have our own celebrity call in out of the blue, like David Wells did yesterday to Connor Happer and Josh Odson.
Wait, the
in
David
the
Wells? Boomer?
The David Wells. So if you don't know the story and did not hear it, it was fantastic radio. Larry the Cable Guy was listening to 1620. So he must have been in Omaha.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Early in the day, you can get 1620 in Lincoln. But yeah, so maybe Larry was down south of Lincoln.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Or he was, out and about. And thank you to him that listened to the show. Because one thing I've found out of my many years working here, you never know who's listening to your radio station.
I have come to learn that.
Just out of the blue, whether it be what you would consider celebrities, whether they be local, like the mayor.
Sure.
Mayor's hear you all the time. And I'm like, no, you don't. I was like, yeah, I heard you talking. I'm like, whoa. Or coaches. There are certain coaches that spend time in their vehicle in Omaha and listen to 1620. And when your DMs are open, you find out who listens to your radio station.
Did I tell you the time where I officially met Coach Crutchfield and someone introduced him to me and was like, "Hey, Coach Crutch, this is the guy who, drives, because they're my friend. They're like, this is the guy that drives Gary crazy every morning.
Yeah.
Coach Crutch, straight face goes, I know.
Yeah, he listens.
I'm like, Coach, hey, nice to meet
He
you. How you doing?
listens
You're
on his
totally
drive
right.
in because sometimes I'll get a breakdown of our show of like things that we said that they want to chime in on. But Larry the Cable Guy is listening yesterday, and I happened to be listening to Happer's show because I was out and about, and they come back from a break, and Happer basically says, "I don't know what's going on," and so I'm thinking, okay, it's a normal day in the Connor Happer show,
Right.
Sure.
and then he tells the story that they had MLB Network on. So they were showing, was it 98? 98 when Wells threw the perfect game against the Twins at Yankee Stadium. So that was on MLB Network. And so they had MLB Network on here in the studio. And they were talking about it. And Larry the Cable Guy, who has a relationship with David Wells, they both play in each other's golf event.
Yeah.
He calls Josh and he goes, I know David Wells. And so Larry the Cable Guy then reaches out to David Wells and says, hey, they're talking about you on the Omaha Sports Talk station. Can you call in?
That's
and
awesome.
so David Wells calls in, and Happer and David Wells have a conversation. I don't know, it was almost 20 minutes. And they were talking about that game and just talking about David Wells. It was great. It was fantastic radio. So you never know on this Tuesday morning who might call in. We are looking for the next celebrity, just unsolicited, to call in. It was a great piece of radio yesterday.
I listened to
Guess they got their best
I
of.
listened to 5 minutes of the interview. I think the best part of it all though was obviously like them, David Wells and Happer talking, but I feel like Happer killed the intro with we're not doing the odd news. Okay. We are not doing the odd news without Sun. We are doing this instead. So that was cool. Also too, it popped up on my Twitter that, Dave, like, because I just see Connor, he like tweets out his live stream and it just said David Wells on the bottom third. And I was like,
Yeah.
That's a really random guy to book at a random time. Like, does he have a book coming out or something like that? And then the story came out. You posted a great picture on Twitter of David Wells because isn't the hat he's wearing in the picture you posted, isn't that Babe Ruth's hat that he's wearing?
Yeah,
Right. That's
so
another famous David Wells story.
Yeah, it was and he told about it. That's why I tweeted at him because he told that story on air how Joe Torre fined him and was upset that he was going to wear it. And then he just ran out of the dugout onto the mound and was pitching in the first inning with it. But there's a better picture. So when I saw they were talking to David Wells, when I got home, I flipped over to MLB Network and they were still talking to David Wells. And there is one after the 7th inning because he had a 3-2 count. And I think it was Marty Cordova hit a little bouncing ball to first base. Tino Martinez picks it up, retires Cordova at first. That was like the only bout of trouble. But they show Wells in the dugout. And now, but at the time you didn't, that he was hungover.
Yeah.
Because he's just like staring into the abyss and he has his hat off.
Hell
and
yes.
His few follicles are all over the place, but he looks like he is like just in the dugout. I want to take that picture, but yeah. So that was a cool moment on the radio station yesterday. Somebody is telling me here, my good friend Brandon, who's going to welcome all of you to Vegas in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Who is a big Husker guy and used to be even a bigger Husker guy when they used to sign his paychecks. He said that DraftKings, Underdog, and the rest of the prediction market apps you can use today. What do you have like the DraftKings or app? See if you can use that sitting in Omaha, Nebraska.
Okay. I'm gonna place a San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl future.
There you go.
Now the prediction markets are wild. Found out last night that Kelce, you know who is an advisor?
To Elon.
President Trump's son, Jr.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. So Kelce may take off. All right, coming up on the show. Again, this is our final live show until January 5th. We're gonna give you Matt and myself are gonna give you a little January 2nd, unfiltered, no commercial show, online only. But we're out until the 5th of January. So we have good guests today that are going to fill in all the blanks before we come back. And with a bowl game in the middle, any luck?
I'm placing it right now. It says location check. So
Okay.
I don't think typically that's what I get when I can't do it.
Yeah, because they have the geofencing,
Let me go here.
which there
Wait,
was
wait, wait. Let me.
when they first started in Iowa, there was about a 4 or 5 week stretch where in Nebraska you could still bet mobile.
I had to disconnect some things.
All right.
Here you go. Let me try.
So
fine.
Sam McEwen's going to join us. Brian Christopherson and Andy Kendi
Cheeseburgers.
will be by. That is the
Good story.
lineup brought to you by the Rooferys at John Higgins Weather Guard.
No luck.
No? Okay.
No.
All right. Well, Brandon's a liar.
I got really excited. I want to place.
I was excited. He texted me. He's in Vegas, I
excited for you.
imagine. He's in Vegas. He's up at 4 a.m. and he's texting me that. All right, we have lots to talk about. Quick question.
Okay.
Our guy, Mr. Davila,
Yeah, Marcus.
is he going to play is he going to be
No.
on the roster in the bowl game, or is he already gone?
No, he's gonna be on the roster. in the
Okay,
bowl
so
game.
they have enough quarterbacks
Yeah.
if Latif goes down.
he's not
Okay,
leaving. He's
all
not
right,
leaving until the game's done.
Okay.
That
Okay.
was
I
made
just-
very clear. That was one of the first lines in a lot of the articles of like he ain't going anywhere.
Okay.
So now I don't. Part of me thought, do you think they might use him like in any sort of way? Maybe give him a little bit of tape, like give him a shot to show something for a
Bruh,
couple of plays.
Bruh,
I
he was
don't
the
know.
4th string quarterback this year.
I'm aware, but like just throw. I was curious as to that because he's probably not going to play.
I
So
would.
he's just there as an
I want.
emergency.
I want 4 quarters of TJ Latif.
I do too, but I was wondering with his appearance on the team, if maybe they would
No,
put in a
this is-
Davila package or something.
This is not the Salvation Army football program. Okay,
okay.
we're not just
So-
giving stuff out.
Totally understood. I didn't fully understand why he would still be on the roster. If that guy's got to go and he's got to promote himself. Like he's got to have a good agent if
I
he's
don't
going to
know.
land somewhere
No.
advantageous.
3rd school in 3 years.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this with, some guys like Roger Gradney put their name into the portal, and you're like, well, I thought he was already in the portal like last year.
That's a good point.
I mean, there's like, and then and unfortunately, here's another local kid.
I know.
By the way, we're about ready to have craziness in this town concerning high school football. Has nothing to do with scheduling, has nothing to do with Elkhorn North and Bennington moving to Class A. We got some movement going on with high school football in this town, and it has nothing to do with coaches. I mean, they're going to be guys playing next fall, and you're going to go, what? But with that said, my love of Omaha kids that go to Lincoln.
Yeah.
Man, Tristan Elvano. He's one that went into the portal yesterday. There was a 3-way battle for place kicking. He got hurt last summer.
Mhm.
They did the surgery, never got it back. I thought he would follow the path of like a Drew Brown, where struggled his freshman year a bit, but still made some quality kicks.
Yeah.
But then his career took off, and it never took off for Tristan. So the former West Side kicker, he is in the portal. But and there's going to be more. I think on my man cave board,
Okay.
Nebraska's either at 108 or 109 on the current roster.
Okay.
If I take out guys that are out of eligibility and guys that have moved into the portal,
Mhm.
so they're getting closer to 105. There's still some that are grandfathered in. But outside of Raiola and Hartzog and the sting factor,
Yeah.
I was trying to think, is there a third player that you could put with those two, not on their level, but a third player that is worthy of a sting factor in terms of leaving the program? The portal giveth, the portal taketh away.
Off the top of my head, no. Those are the only two that I thought, man, that hurts. I thought Dylan hurt because of, we talked about this over and over
Yeah,
again,
the
right?
first
The
two are
stability,
those are no brainers.
Stability and experience. No, because Davila doesn't really hurt. Because if I look, in terms of Marcus Davila, right? If he's not going to compete for the Nebraska quarterback job with seemingly how open it might be, right? Or the fact that the door is probably a little cracked, right? For somebody to come in and challenge DJ. If he's not going to win this job, where it's very much up for it's not 100% guaranteed. What job is he going to win? What job is he going to take?
You know what? Him getting in the portal gave me faith and knowledge yesterday.
In what way?
You see what Nebraska's doing offensively, what they want to do with their quarterback, and he can't do that.
Yeah.
And so the writing is on the wall.
Yeah.
So
point.
they're making moves and relaying a message about what they're going to look like. And if you don't look like that, and that's not your strength, you're probably going to be better off somewhere else. So it actually was like, okay,
Roster building. Like that's
not
proper
roster building,
but
it's just
well,
it is, hey, this is what we're going to require out of our quarterback.
yeah.
We're going to block this way.
Mhm.
We're going to operate this way. We don't think you can be that kind of a guy.
Sure.
You can compete, you can stay, but what your strengths are not going to be the strengths of this offense. So it kind of gives me a like, okay, I see where we're going. Hello, 14. But Parker would be the one, and guys that are
Sure.
going to the portal, you can't miss what you didn't have. Like Parker is one that I kind of wanted to see on the field,
Yeah.
but that seemed like it was an uphill battle from the start, and it
Well,
had nothing to do with Nebraska.
And I've told you this before, Gary. When I first got here, you know, you and I kind of sat down, and I was away from the market for a little bit, and I wasn't
Like
in.
4 months.
It was like 8. It was a while.
You were
8.
doing nothing else. You could follow this.
I was
Oh,
I was
you've
still
gone
writing
so
on the
long.
team.
You're like a
Regardless,
nom.
you and I sat down and we talked about things, and we talked about guys that you like and guys to like look out for and whatnot, and recruiting classes. And one of the guys you brought up right away was Jamarian Parker. You know, and the fact that they thought and they really believed that, hey, part of the whole not getting a Marty Brown was maybe potentially because this guy could come in as a freshman and make an impact.
By the way, it'd be wild if they got Marty Brown back.
Is he back in the portal?
Not in the portal. Well, I mean, Miami's playing, but Fletcher coming back, announcing yesterday at Miami that he's coming back. Keep an eye on Marty Brown. Not, and then that doesn't mean he's coming to Nebraska, but
Sure.
that he might be back in the portal.
I mean, they already had that whole experience of trying to recruit
Well,
him
the
and,
running
building
back
a relationship
position,
with him.
you know, I mean,
They need 2 of
Nebraska
them.
Nebraska's going to get 2 high school kids in the class of 27. They already have one that has committed, that is signed in 26 in Rule, no relation. And they're going to need at least one out of the portal, because you have Nelson and Mosey
Yeah.
that are going to stay. I imagine Ives is going to leave. If he stays,
I got no
is
clue.
he a special teams guy? You know, where do they go? Do they go past connections, or do they go somebody new? I mean, that'll be a fascinating aspect. But the running back position, I mean, there was a couple years ago where Quan Lacey was committed.
Yeah.
And then he decommitted. And then Parker, because we all talk about St. Louis. Can Nebraska get into St. Louis? And when they do, man, get that kid here. And I like this high school tape. He didn't give Nebraska a chance. He got here, he was injured, he was out of shape, seemed like he was in the doghouse, never hit the field. But I don't know right now if you can get a third sting factor. Like Dillon's number 1, Hartzog is number 2. Then there's a space between 1, and 2.
Yeah.
And then there's right now a significant space into number 3. So we will discuss all of this because this is portal season. It is quarterback season. It is holiday season. And I have the first holiday hot take of the day.
Okay.
You ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. This will be a very unpopular take. I think It's a Wonderful Life is a bad movie.
Yeah, that's awful.
I think it's a really bad movie. The message is good. The acting in it is really bad.
That's
It's a Wonderful
Don't
Life.
like Jimmy Stewart.
I like Jimmy Stewart.
Okay.
Bad acting.
Oh.
It's not a very good movie. The message is great. The movie and the acting and all of that stuff, no, not good. Not good. And also my other hot take
Now
on
you watch it.
holidays,
See.
I want to get everybody started today. You know what? You thought you were just going to lollygag through Festivus Day on our final live show of 2025?
I like where this is
I'm
going.
gonna hit you. The other
Okay.
part is this wonderful time of the year. We spend time with family and see people we haven't seen before and get a little downtime and, you know, catch up and enjoy the season. This event, whether it's Hanukkah, whether it's Kwanzaa, whether it's Christmas, once you get past your teenage years, it kind of sucks.
Yes.
Because it becomes really expensive and there's a lot of tasks that you have to do.
And there's drama. There's usually
Okay.
always drama somewhere.
So I was sitting in the car yesterday and I was just driving and it hit me that it was December 22nd and tomorrow was December 23rd and the next day was Christmas Eve and the next day was Christmas.
I get that.
And
did
I
that today with the
and I
23rd.
had like when you were, because I'm not too far removed from what you're just describing.
Mhm.
Typically, you feel it the entire time. You feel
Yeah,
it. You
yeah.
hear the Christmas music and you hear the jingle
It's
bells.
fun.
And the snow is coming down, and it's like you're doing activities and some, especially when you were like the Christmas part. Honestly, I just turned in the brass rail for the grade school holiday Christmas party. Okay, I mean they were essentially the same thing. It was one of the biggest days of the year, right? In terms of the cookies you had and the fact that you were drinking Sprite and Capri Suns and you're hanging out with people and you didn't
Yeah.
have class, right? Like yesterday I was driving and I was like, these have just felt like days. They have
It's
just felt
Monday.
like,
Yeah.
yes, it has just felt like Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Thursdays. And then I'm looking at my bank account and I'm like, wow, I've spent $400 on other people. This is probably the first time I've ever done that. So
It gets
I
worse.
I don't disagree with you. I don't know if I'd go as far as it sucks, because tomorrow
Give it time.
and Friday, like I will be with my family, I'll be with my people. Like
no, that's
that'll
what I
be-
said. That part is fine. It's
that'll
just
be
all the
nice.
tasks you have to complete,
Well,
and then the money.
But day 1 through 23,
Yeah.
growing up, used to be, man, that used to be the time. You used to be counting down days till winter break. Now I'm just kind of like, it didn't feel like anything.
Yeah,
I didn't put on Santa Baby 1180 more than like 3 times. I barely listened to
Oh,
Christmas
that's 3
music.
more than me.
you didn't listen to "All I Want for Christmas" from Mariah Carey.
No.
Oh.
21st straight week, #1 on the charts. Do you know that she
That's my
makes?
last Christmas.
Hey, that song, I can make love to that song. Do you know that she
Really?
makes about $2.5 million to $3 million a year on royalties from that song?
Good
Hey,
for
shout
her,
out to
man.
her.
Good for
That is
her.
a song, man. How can you? I mean, Barry White. Well, I mean, Barry White's a good, like, in the
Rest in
mood
peace.
song. All I Want for Christmas, when
Yeah.
Mariah just goes deep,
Yeah.
oh, I go, whoa.
You want my bad take?
Oh.
Because your take is
No, no,
terrible.
these are not bad takes.
These are
These are
terrible takes.
called-
Wait, which one's the bad
These are
take?
called
This is-
hot takes. Let me finish here.
Okay.
The days leading up to Christmas are better than the actual day.
That is crazy. That is not. I just explained to you why the days leading up to Christmas don't feel like days leading up to Christmas. They just feel like days. They just, and you just told me that you don't like
Just give me
all
the
of the lead up
26th.
and all of the tasks you have to do and all the things you have to buy. And now you're telling me, so how much worse is the day?
I'm not saying it's worse. It's just I enjoy the days leading up to Christmas. Then Christmas is just here, and you're like, what store is open, what is not. I mean, I'm not a little kid anymore. I don't have kids, so I'm not watching them unwrap presents or whatever. I'm thinking, am I going to watch more of the NBA than I watched last year? But I know that I'm going to watch 3 colon your stocking NFL games.
I think you're right. You don't have the kid factor and you don't have the present factor.
And I will say this one quick thing here, because you kind of alluded to it. My schedule with broadcasting,
yes.
we usually are on the road a lot in December.
Mhm.
So it doesn't feel like Christmas is here, because you're gone for a couple of weekends
Yeah.
and you're gone for long stretches.
Mhm.
And like we just came back from a part of the country where
It was warm down there.
It was great.
It was
it's really
80s.
warm, but I'm trying to think if I saw any. Oh, the only thing I really saw at Christmas was the guy that swept the floor at the basketball game the other night dressed as an elf. So kind of with that schedule, it's tough to get into the mood.
You don't see. You don't.
But
you
the
don't
days
soak it in.
days leading up are better than the actual day.
I think you're probably, for you yourself.
Yes,
You're probably
yes,
correct.
yes.
Like for you, it's probably that way. I would say for a lot of America,
Yeah.
it's probably not. The day is probably the
That's why
best.
That's called a hot take.
Yeah, it's probably,
You're
very
not wrong,
rewarding
Gary.
for a lot of people to see their children unwrap the gifts and see the family
that's true.
they haven't
Okay.
seen in a while, and to
Yeah,
have the
okay.
mimosas and
I'm
the
glad
hot
you gave me the
cocoa.
differential there.
Yeah,
thank
so
you.
I
Thank
don't
you.
think that's a bad take for somebody in your situation. I think for everybody else, it's probably that. I mean, I think 1 through 23, when you're seeing your bank account
Right.
dwindle and dwindle and dwindle, and I'm not saying you are, I'm sure that you treat the people in your life very nicely, but when they see the kids open up the presents, it's all worth it, right?
Yes, yes.
You don't
yes.
really get that payoff, right? And also, too, you treat Christmas like an Italian wedding and you give them cash as opposed to presents. So you don't really get to see the, oh my God, Gary, how'd you know? Like,
What if he
like,
gives you $500 right now? You'll
Hey,
be like, oh,
I would kiss him
it-
on the cheek.
Okay.
If anybody gave me $500 right now, I would kiss them.
Well, get a Powerball ticket. Nobody won last night. It's 1.7
my
billion
God,
on
there we
Christmas
go.
Eve.
Okay. My hot take was going, okay, here's my hot take. I think these like Christmas songs that were made by some of the younger artists of
Cook.
my generation are starting to age well.
Oh,
I think Under the Mistletoe by Justin Bieber is a banger. I think that's one of the best Christmas songs going right now. Shawty with you. Ooh, shawty with you. Ooh,
All right.
Under
Knockout
the
here. Let's play Knockout. That
mistletoe.
song or Christmas in Hollis by Run DMC?
Christmas in Hollis.
Bam. Thank you. Might have been a loaded question.
I think
My apprentice
I think,
watched Die
dude,
Hard for the
I
first
think
time
Under
the other day.
Mistletoe
So.
with Jay Beebs
Glad you're watching Christmas movies.
is awesome. Do they still do the 25 Days of Christmas?
I
On the-
think they
on-
were. They were
on the
showing the
Freeform
Santa
channel?
Claus.
No, but that
yesterday.
bad movie that I just referenced, they
Okay,
show
so that's
it
one of your
it's a
wor- that's your
24-hour
worst take-
marathon
Your worst take of all.
on TBS.
First off,
Home Alone 2 better than Home Alone 1.
Okay, that is a great take. Now, have you seen Home Alone 4 without Macaulay Culkin?
I have not.
No.
I stopped
Okay.
at 2.
That's a banger of a movie. That was a great one. Home Alone 4, right? It's some random
Did
ass
we have
actor.
to do Home Alone 4?
No, but it's a cash cow. Did we have to do,
Is
when
that where he
Harry
fights
Met
the Russian?
Sally 2? No, we didn't. Okay? There's a lot of things that we
See,
didn't. Did we
I watched that on the plane the other day.
did we have
It's a
to-
Wonderful
when
Life
Harry
take.
Met
That's how I
Sally
feel about
2?
Christmas.
No, Harry Met Sally 1 because of the passing of
Rob
the
Reiner.
Reiners.
But like The Lion King 2. Did we really need to do The Lion King 2? I've never even
I
seen
didn't know
it.
there
Well,
was a
I don't know.
second
Ask James Cameron with how much money Avatar has
Well,
made
that's a
over
good
the last
point,
couple
but
of weeks.
I don't think we needed to make Aladdin the Return of
Yeah,
Jafar.
that's true.
I didn't think that was a
That's true.
necessity.
All right. We'll air the grievances. We'll get your holiday hot takes. Plus, we'll share our favorite sports moments from 2025 and bold predictions in 2026.
Headley comments in our YouTube chat. Wow. Gary out on the birth of Jesus Christ.
Oh, I love Jesus. Okay.
Yeah.
I
No,
love
know.
Jesus.
That's my guy.
I once
That's the song?
participated.
Yeah.
I once participated in a live manger scene.
Oh, wow.
You were a live
will let you
you were in
guys-
the live nativity?
Yes, I will let you guys guess what I played at
Yen
Saint
Maker?
outside of St. Pius X.
You were one
Now
of
I was
Wise man.
between the
He was a
grades
wise
of
man.
1 and 8. Why couldn't I be Jesus?
Because you seem
were
like
not
you'd
a
be the
baby.
wise man giving advice.
Yeah.
I am not out on the birth of Jesus Christ. Okay, I celebrate it.
That's a poll question.
All right.
Were you were you the camel?
Maybe
No,
Joe.
Okay.
no, I was not the
Were
camel.
you one of the wise
we had a
men?
live camel.
Were you one of the wise men?
Nice. Now we're
I'd
talking.
be a little bit young. I was between the grades of 1 and 8.
Oh.
You were picturing a
I
20-something-year-old
was
Gary
picturing
Sharp.
like a 35-year-old.
And by the way, how would I be out
Gary.
on Headley? How would I be out on the birth of Jesus Christ? Because my middle name is named after his dad.
He could hit a curveball
Yes.
too.
he could hit a
So,
curveball.
so I mean, my namesake. I mean, he produced, I think, one of the Hall of Famers.
Were you married?
Oh,
I'm making a joke.
Should have raised your hand. Bad joke.
Go to the corner.
All right, off and running.
this song isn't bad.
Buckle up,
It's-
everybody.
Dude, this is a banger.
Not bad.
Yeah, this is a good song.
No Christmas Tree Farm, but
This is a good song.
I think it used to suck. I thought it used to be terrible, and now I heard it, and I was like, dude, I vibe.
I don't think it has the same effect on the mojo as
I agree.
Mariah.
I agree. But do you know? I'll say this hot take: Michael Bublé over Mariah.
It depends on if you're male or female.
I don't think it does. I think
Oh,
it just
I
is.
think-
it does.
Do you like quality or quantity? If you like quantity, you like Michael Bublé.
Two better than one.
He's
I
got
think-
like 18.
I think Michael Bublé only gets run because his last name is unique. All right. Welcome. It is Happy Festivus on Gary and Matt and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone. Such a great song.
You're all right, Argyle. Just remember that when you sign for the tip.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back in. If you're traveling, you know what you're about to experience, that airport Chili's hits harder than the real Chili's that is in your community.
Hell
Those
yes.
airport Chili's taste so much different and so good.
Shout out to the one in Denver.
So if you got a chance to hop into an airport Chili's, you got a connector, just do it. Do it.
The one at O'Hare's.
They're better than the like
The
standalone.
one at O'Hare's great.
See,
The one at O'Hare's awesome. I get breakfast over at the one at O'Hare.
Yeah?
And I get the I get the eggs and I get the bacon. Dude, I'm like, I can eat breakfast here at Chili's all the time. Also do the bar at Chili's. It's awesome.
It is cold beer. Speaking of cold beer, person reached out to me because I went to Twin Peaks
Yes.
in Texas Friday night.
Twin Peaks is one of those random ass sport bars where it's like somebody says they went to Twin Peaks and they're like, oh, like I totally forgot. Like I totally forgot they're around. Or like it's
the
like
burgers were okay.
like it's somebody.
I remember
It's like
that.
if somebody told you I went to Tilted Kilt. You know,
Yeah,
you'd be
yeah.
like, oh, okay. I haven't been to a Tilted Kilt in 15 years, but I'll never forget when I went to the Tilted
I used
Kilt.
to have a couple in Lincoln.
Tilted Kilts. Talk about cold beer.
Felt like I got a creepy manager. Well, so that's Twin Peaks. So I took somebody,
Sure,
but I didn't tell him what Twin Peaks was.
Jordan didn't know.
So walked in,
That was a mountain
eye
place.
opener. But we didn't stay very long because they had the Joshua Paul Netflix audio on, and we just want to watch a football game.
Yeah.
But I don't know, weird things happen. People listen to you, algorithms. I got a email yesterday. Twin Peaks is coming back to Omaha. It's going to be out at Village
wow.
Point.
Okay.
So Twin Peaks
yes,
used
I
to
knew
be
this.
at 173rd and Center. Their biggest faux pas, they were across the parking lot from Oscars. Okay, so two similar sports bars.
Yeah.
Oscars better,
Yes.
much better.
Great
Charbuff
wings.
wings.
Oh, hell yes.
So good.
But Twin Peaks, like their beer is between 29 and 31 degrees, and I can attest it is very, very cold. But probably the people in Lincoln that ran out Hooters, probably the people here ran out Twin Peaks. They don't want that stuff in their community. They're coming back. They're opening a location out at Village Point.
Apprentice's first
So
birthday party.
Village Point
You
will be the
coming, man?
host of Twin
No.
Peaks.
Jimmy, we are gonna throw the apprentice a proper Latin birthday for 1-year-old birthday party.
I think the
All right?
internet. I think the internet hurts Hooters and Twin Peaks.
What I could agree. I told you Hooters got canceled. Hooters back in the day used to be awesome.
I
Used
liked
to
it.
be
The
a
one at
great time.
120th, 3rd and Center
It got
was, but now we're down to two.
It
One in
got-
Council Bluffs, right next to your second home, and
Yeah.
then one out. I think it's La Vista.
I
don't
think
know.
so. Yeah.
It's not Papillion. It's La Vista,
Yeah.
right off the interstate.
Yeah.
We have the big theater.
Yes.
What the hell's the name of
Alamo.
that theater? Alamo.
okay.
He's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I
You
don't
have
know where that
Cabela's.
is. I didn't know.
You have
where-
Embassy Suites, Costco.
I've never been
Right
over
in there is the
Saw it
the
the
new
other day. We
Hooters.
went to see Santa.
But Twin Peaks is coming back to Omaha,
Hey,
so
Twin-
raise a glass. I bet they become a partner here on 1620.
That'd
Hell
be
yes.
awesome. They were a partner over at my former employer.
Friday show.
They
now?
were. They would go ahead.
We
and-
are their audience.
They would go ahead and they would run events every Saturday for their for the college football show at Twin Peaks,
Mm.
and like they'd have personalities go over there and drink beers and watch football. So if Twin Peaks wants to do that with 1620 The Zone, I volunteer.
Yeah.
as tribute.
No, I
Breakfast and beers.
They,
Oh
they,
my
with
god!
Gary
Well,
and
I mean,
Matt.
it happens anyway.
So previously they were a partner of 1620 because the first ever roundtable happened at the
Really?
bar at Twin Peaks when Nick Ball was still here.
You know what? Hooters did get wokeified, right? I mean that movement kind of wiped.
They got
it out.
exposed because
Well, they wanted
the
to be
wings-
exposed.
the
If I-
wings are too soggy. They just sit and they're soggy.
They
Well,
were a
well,
little
that's-
greasy.
Gary, that's the problem. It's actually the opposite happened. They didn't. They got unexposed.
The best Hooters I've ever been to is within eye shot of an ocean. I'm just saying.
The best
Um,
Hooters I went to was right next to the Allstate Arena, and we would go
Nice.
to Chicago Wolves games, and then Dad would take the boys and all the travel baseball
Yeah.
team over to Hooters.
See, mine is Destin the night before my
Mhm.
It
wedding.
was.
Um, This weekend is now after the Niners winning last night, a little bit of a less drama on the 18th. I'm still rooting for the Niners to beat your Bears. I don't hold that against you, but I need something. That's going to be a great Monday night game. Short week, though.
Short week.
Short week. No, Sunday night game, I should
It's
say.
Sunday night. Yeah. Long week.
So maybe the game of the weekend is 2-13 against 2-13. The Giants and the Raiders. You know how big this game is?
Oh my God, that's massive. That's the Mendoza Bowl.
It is so big. Look up who's doing the game. Not the network, but the announcer.
Burkhart?
Kevin
Please.
Harlan.
Oh, hell yeah.
Kevin Harlan is doing the Giants Raiders this weekend.
That's awesome.
Damn, I would have gotten him.
I mean, it's funny because if the Raiders lose that game, they will take Fernando Mendoza. If the Giants lose that game, they're gonna trade that pick and then probably have to draft another quarterback in 3 years.
I don't know, man. Jackson Dart.
Didn't have a good game.
See if they'll trust him. Old man Doug writes into his own
I
inbox.
just saw
Another
this.
fantastic year. Doug at Equitable Bank. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to all your wonderful employees. They're great people out there. He said, Gary, never in my life have I disagreed more with your It's a Wonderful Life is a bad movie. Matt, you're just as guilty for agreeing with him.
I did not agree with you.
I wouldn't call
Oh, you
the
disagree.
acting poor. Maybe it's not great, but the message of gratitude is overwhelming. All right. I said the message is great. The movie is bad.
You're wrong. You're totally wrong.
The movie
it's
is
a great
bad.
movie. It's a classic movie. It is one of the best movies
No.
of that era.
The
It's one of
message
the
is
best movies
great,
of a
and we need
generation.
more messages.
The,
and
the
and
acting is
Doug
not bad
says
at all.
we need more gratitude
watch
and
it again.
loyalty. The acting and the filming is very, very poor. The message is great.
Wait,
And I think we get it shoved down our throat this time of the year. If the movie was so good, like in terms of a masterpiece, not the message, a masterpiece, how come they don't show it on the 4th of July?
because it's a themed based movie.
Yeah, we
You
watched the
wa-
hot
yeah,
dogs on
yeah.
I watched
no,
Die Hard
get
in
outta here.
June.
No, get out of here.
It did
First
come out
off,
in
Die
July.
Hard ain't a Christmas.
People are watching Home Alone in
Second-
November.
Die Hard and
Second,
Lethal
no,
Weapon
they're
are
not.
Christmas movies.
They watch Home Alone during Christmas. Christmas movies get played during Christmas.
If a movie is great, you watch it. It doesn't matter what time of the year.
But it
Okay.
hits better. First off, it hits better in a certain holiday, depending on the time of the year. And also, people don't just watch It's a Wonderful Life once during the Christmas season. They watch it multiple times. Also, too,
Yeah,
the
because there's a
filmography-
network
Wait.
that gives you 24 hours of this.
The filmography of It's a Wonderful Life, you say it's like bad film. It's actually like for its time, groundbreaking in terms of how great the picture looks and how it transforms.
Black and white.
Like, yeah, it's black and white, but it's clear, and then like the different settings that they're in, and the fact that they are using all real life sets in a world that we live in with all the CGI and the green screen and the blue screen and everything like that.
I'm
It's
listening.
a Wonderful Life is one of those real in life movies that still holds water, even almost years and decades after it was produced.
I bet if Jimmy
is-
Stewart
it
was
is-
here, you'd agree with
It
me.
is definitely one
He
of
played for the Jaguars.
the greater pieces of art that we've had because of the fact that it was filmed
I
so
can't
long
listen.
ago.
I can't listen to you talking
And
about
yes, yet we still to this day, how many other things from that era are we still watching and appreciating and saying is great?
Willie
lot of-
Mays, Joe DiMaggio, Babe
A
Ruth.
lot of those movies made in those eras we completely forget, and it takes
Ooh,
film
Pride of the
junkies
Yankees came out
for,
around that
for
time.
us to for them to say, hey, you got to watch this movie, got to watch this movie. It's a Wonderful Life is one of the very few films we still
Yeah.
appreciate decades
Yeah.
after it was made. And also, too, the acting is great in that movie. The contrast between Clarence and Jimmy Stewart and Zuzu and the whole eon, it's a great message.
Dominic?
No, not Dominic the donkey. It was eon.
Yeah, so you went Eeyore there.
No. What was Mary? Mary was great in that movie too. She became a widow, George.
Oh,
she
they all-
never found
oh.
love.
If it was such a great movie, they only won one award:
Every time a bell rings, an angel
Golden
gets
Globe
his
Award
wing.
for Best Director. Message great. We gotta-
Stanley Kubrick
we
could have
gotta-
taken that to the
we
next
gotta
level.
we gotta work on other things in that movie. Doug finishes up. Despite your horrible take, Merry Christmas to all of you. I do agree this season sucks because of all the obligations. Thank you very much, Doug. Thanks for being a partner of 1620 The Zone,
Yes,
NRG Media, and a friend of
I'm-
the show who I don't know, I should ask if he was at the Creighton game last night. Creighton went wire to wire, 92-69. They've won 3 in a row. Remember how I said as we begin basketball season, and you're like, Nebraska basketball. By the way, number 13 in the country.
Yeah.
Creighton struggling a bit. I said, wait till January 1. Creighton has one more game before January 1. So does Nebraska.
The last 10 days of Creighton basketball have been a revelation.
Was it,
We're-
Wow.
was it 10 days?
It was 10
A
days.
week?
It was
A week and a couple of days?
It
Yeah,
was
10 days.
It was December 13th
Yeah.
when they played the first half
Okay,
against Kansas
so
State.
let me quick ask you about this because last night they covered. It was a typical bye game before Christmas break, slow start.
Yep.
And then Creighton looked normal.
Was it
No.
sleepy?
They weren't. It was pretty decent.
The only guy sleeping was Owen Freeman. But
He's dunker spot Owen now.
7 points in 13 minutes. What at one point we can start talking about the
does-
knee and talking about the meh.
He doesn't really do a whole lot other
Yeah.
than sit in the paint and they'll
Well,
they'll dish it out to him. And he'll finish the
They're
layup. And
looking
he
good.
didn't
They're
look
looking good without his contribution. But so we've won 3 in a row. They look normal. I mean, I think Isaac Trout is now like I'm seeing the best Isaac Trout that I've seen at Creighton, and he's morphing into a 3-level guy, which he did in high school at
Yeah.
Grand Island.
off the
So-
ball cut scary.
Yeah,
Looked
he
great
looks good.
yesterday.
I think Dix is the whole key, though, who
Agreed.
keeps putting up nice fantasy basketball lines. So there is the feeling of, okay, this is what it can be, but I sense some like hesitancy. That's okay, because the next 5 for Creighton are when you're going to be able to go, all right.
Mm-hmm.
And all they just need to keep winning games, get into the bubble talk. Okay. They're not going to play themselves into the tournament in the regular season unless other teams in front of them fall because they didn't help themselves in the non-con, and the Big
Yeah.
East is not helping them because now St. John's isn't even ranked. Big game tonight, Villanova at Seton Hall. So Creighton just needs to win. Okay.
Yeah.
They just need to,
Yeah.
they need to get as many wins as possible. They need to go 3-1 against UConn and St. John's, in my opinion. But the next 5 are really gonna, if you're man, they're back.
Yeah.
You got Butler,
Mhm.
then you go to Seton Hall, then you go to Villanova, then St. John's comes here, and then Georgetown comes here. So while I say January 1, I'll be able to tell you exactly what every team is. Really, the next 5 games, I think moving forward, you'll be able to say, that's who Creighton is. And now just keep winning games. No bad losses. Keep winning games. Get to March and somehow find your way back into the discussion.
So their net yesterday was 58. And I believe I heard on the Connor Happer show, and I'll have to confirm with Connor, that Creighton's net rating this season was higher this time than what it was last season. That they actually have a higher net now than they did last year. So which is really interesting because we weren't pushing the panic button nearly as much this year as we were last year. They go 5-0, which they won't. But if they were to go on continue this run of really, really good basketball, and they have 8 wins in a row and they'd be 13-5, with currently where their net is, they'd firmly be, last 4 in on the bubble after having a terrible, terrible non-con. I just think that we've talked about this all the time, Gare, across different sports. There are just certain things that coaches say in press conference that stick with you. And I remember after that Nebraska game, Coach Matt going Nebraska is champions in their roles.
Mm-hmm.
And we need that. That's something that we are
Are
clamoring
you saying
for.
that Creighton has morphed into Nebraska?
I'm saying that Creighton has
Or Nebraska
morphed
has morphed into Creighton?
I'm saying that Creighton has morphed into a team that you actually see players with defined roles. And you actually see guys embrace their roles and do their roles. And now, shocker, now that you have that, they're playing good basketball and they're winning basketball.
Last night was a good night for Nebraska basketball. Nebraska basketball for Creighton. Creighton wins. And the ball game in St. Louis last night. Did you see the result? So the
No.
bragging rights game, Illinois destroyed Missouri.
Wow.
They beat them by
Right.
43.
Hell
Oh my
yes.
God.
You know the last time that the Fighting Illini
ILL.
played was the Nebraska game. Last night was a good night for Nebraska ball. Nebraska ball for Creighton.
Are we in Nebraska ball for North Dakota?
No, North Dakota's. Well, I shouldn't say it because what happens if Omaha trips up against
I
them?
was about to say.
No, I think you have to worry about North Dakota.
I was baiting you.
No, I'm not going to take your bait. But last night was a good night for Nebraska. But Creighton has won 3 in a row. They look normal. Now we're almost out of non-conference games, and we get to conference play. Omaha has 1 more left a week from Sunday. Or no. Yeah, this upcoming Sunday at
Yeah.
Oregon. Creighton has Butler. So
On the
Creighton
30th.
is into the conference now. And then Nebraska has New Hampshire.
And then they have
Then they have Michigan State on the 2nd of January.
Spicy.
And they could be 14-0 if they upset the Spartans.
I think the what if we win counter for Nebraska
Yeah.
ball fans across the state is up to like 1 million right now.
Will Nebraska basketball's ranking be higher than Dylan Raiola's ranking in the Athletics Best Available Quarterbacks? That's a question that we'll answer when we return on Happy Festivus Day, the final live show of 2025. Gary and Matt with Jimmy on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back in. Hour number 2 on a Tuesday. Happy Festivus. Happy Trans-Siberian Orchestra Day. They have a busy schedule, man. When they go out on their tour in November and December, it's like every night they're in a different part of the country. They were over in Council Bluffs. They usually begin, or one of their first dates is usually in Omaha or Council Bluffs. They were in Council Bluffs last month. You ever seen the Trans-Siberian Orchestra in person?
No,
You're not from Nebraska.
Oh, wow. That's a fine time.
Great show.
Yeah, you'd
I
like
haven't
it.
really.
Good people that are in it too.
I
Take a date.
I come from a good opera town.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
Shout out Skokie.
you got the from
Yeah.
Chicago. You have the Chicago Opera House, which I walked
Yeah.
by on Madison Avenue about 4 or 5 times a week. Pretty recently. I never got into that stuff. I
Yeah.
never because they would always do like Star Wars, but they
Mhm.
would do it. The opera would do it live, or
Yeah.
they would do Harry Potter, but the opera would do it live and all that stuff. I never got
O'Reilly
into
did
the,
it live.
I never got into the violin or the cello or anything like that. I wasn't.
Okay.
I was more of a trumpet guy.
You know
growing up.
what? Trans-Siberian Orchestra go a step further. That'll show that you're a true Nebraskan. Dabble in a little Mannheim Steamroller.
Okay.
I haven't heard from Chip Davis in a while.
Is he part of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra?
He is.
He created it.
Okay.
He's
Mannheim.
dad.
Well, he created Mannheim Steamroller,
Okay.
which was like the new age,
Chip Davis,
like
not Chip
music.
Gaines.
like Christmas music.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that electronic classical style. That was Chip Davis with Mannheim Steamroller. But he is lives right here I think he still lives right here in Omaha. He's close to 80. I think so.
Damn.
I used to see him at events. I haven't seen him in a while. But yeah, this time of the year, you think of Chip Davis.
I don't. I didn't think of Chip Davis for 1 second.
And then I think Chip Davis once was going to build this big, huge amphitheater,
Okay.
either out in Gretna or in Ashland off the interstate.
And what happened?
It kind of
That's
went
like
by the
the
wayside.
NHL?
There's been a lot of great ideas for that part, like Ashland, and I would feel bad for what is it? Not Sunoco. What is the truck stop gas station that's right there on the right when you're going towards Lincoln from Omaha?
Oh, the Quick Trip?
No, it's not a
No.
Quick Trip. It's not a Sunoco. It's
I know what you mean.
A Sunoco.
I just keep thinking
yeah.
Dynaco.
Okay,
but
so
By the way, does Sunoco exist? Because I only
In
see
the
it in
South, it does.
NASCAR. I only see it there.
I see it in the South.
They're like, he's getting some of that Sunoco fuel. Denny Hamlin, he's
So
sitting in 8th
there
place
are
right now with
more-
Logano right
more-
on his back.
I see them more on the West Coast, like they actually are gas stations. But that exit, so we were going to have an amphitheater, then we were going to have an airport, then that's because I-80 Speedway used to exist off that
Yeah.
exit. There was going to be a NASCAR track before
my
the people in Newton, Iowa, and Rusty Wallace got the idea and they built it.
Don says
And
pilot.
then there was a proposal to build a new Nebraska football stadium off of that exit. But yet that exit has had nothing built. And it just is the truck stop gas station and then whatever they did with the I-80 Speedway.
Yeah.
But I think, Chip Davis, I think it was that exit. We're going to have a gigantic amphitheater. Instead, we have multiple amphitheaters, indoor and outdoor, in this town. now.
Out of all the hypothetical ideas you've told me about that potential exit over there,
Yeah.
Big Lake always got me.
Big Lake got shut down.
I know. Big
Yeah.
Lake would have done it. Big Lake would have been a big deal. You
Hey,
know?
and I don't know
Look
why.
at the marketing.
Dude,
Hey.
it would have been awesome.
Hey.
I mean, that's a perfect little spot for all of
Yeah.
Omaha and Lincoln to kind of come together. And then you can even get parts of north central Nebraska to come to Big Lake as well. I mean,
especially Ashland Greenwood is exploding. They
Exactly.
got a great downtown. I mean,
just be hanging and banging on the
Yeah.
lake.
what if somebody made a proposal, like the state of Kansas, which will be the smallest state to host a professional franchise?
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
I hope one thing
Great
happens.
Stat, Gary.
Astro
Doesn't Kansas still have some archaic liquor laws? Like when
No, they got rid of.
Oh,
the
they got rid
Sunday
of those?
law.
Okay.
Yeah, that took me for a
Okay.
loop when I moved there.
But Missouri's the opposite, where you can literally be in the back seat of Missouri and crack open a beer.
well,
It's one of the
Missouri's-
few good things about that.
Missouri's also the state
And
that's
wheat.
lost 3 NFL franchises since 1987.
that is a great what?
So,
2 St. Louis and 1 Kansas City.
Okay, there you
yes.
go. I was only alive for 2 of them.
But, the state of Kansas, because the Hunts like money. That's what it's about. Makes me appreciate Robert Kraft, that 3/4 of Gillette Stadium he funded. But billionaires like other people to pay for their stadiums.
Yeah.
That's what's happening with the Chiefs. Kansas came with money. KCMO came with Okay, an overnight plan. Here you go. We'll renovate the stadium. But the money. What if Nebraska? I think Nebraska after the first year is going to announce what they're doing with Memorial Stadium. I saw Michigan State just announced yesterday they've got a big plan for Spartan Stadium. What if like Ashland or Seward or Milford or Crete or even like Eagle came with a plan funding to the University of Nebraska to build a stadium for them
No.
in their location?
No.
Can you imagine right next to Eagle Speedway, brand new home of the Huskers,
No.
and the athletic department doesn't have to foot the bill? They raise the taxes in Eagle. Now they might not have enough people to
I was about
pay
to say,
those taxes.
by the way,
What if this ever happened in college sports? Do you think somebody would jump on it? Because we see this all the time now in professional sports.
Okay.
Communities want, they want to keep their team or bring their team, so they give them this loaded package.
Sure.
Why don't we ever see that in college?
So I'll have this is my answer for you. How desperate are they?
Like the athletic department?
Yeah. How desperate is the athletic department?
Well, I mean, they don't have to foot the bill.
Because if you have, no one wants to turn into UCLA where you got to travel.
Just expand O Street as you get out.
No.
70th,
No one-
84th, 96th, keep going. And then you're
Gary,
driving in the horizon.
You're-
You start to see the
No,
new Memorial
You're
Stadium.
defeating the purpose.
In the
And
burbs.
you got
You
Eagle
are-
Speedway is still there.
You would be destroying the purpose of a college town. The
I think
purpose of the
ESPN's
college
doing
town.
that already.
We're
is that
NFL light, right?
the purpose of the
Yeah.
college town is that the stadium is on campus and the stadium is there, and you do all the things that a college town brings before the game, and then the joy and beauty of walking to the stadium and going to the Memorial Stadium and being on the campus. And look at you when I go to a game in Lincoln, when I'm older and I have a kid, I'm going to walk by Anderson Hall and be like, that's where I spent 4 years, son. Or, I'm sure there are people who they
I
walk
passed
by
out on
Old
that
Father
bench.
and they go, this is where I went to school. Or maybe they come down from the north, they go north to south and they want to show their kids Harper, Schramm, and Smith. And be like, look, I was Harper 8. I lived right there. There's Harper Hall. Oh, this is where we used to eat. Oh, this is where. That's the beauty. You don't want to go ahead and just drive. We're going to go and have a couple beers on O Street, and then we have to get an Uber to Greenwood, or we have to drive to Eagle.
Create
or
a
we
light
have to-
rail.
It does not
Imagine
matter.
the parking
It-
that
oh
you'd
my-
have
it would
about
be
a stadium in
So
Ashland.
much
Dude,
tailgating.
You got the exit off of 80 there.
Here, by the way, in Greenwood, I'm looking at Greenwood right now. There's like 14 blocks. Where would you even be?
Right off of the interstate.
Yeah.
Right off the interstate.
What,
Now-
would you tear
now-
down Greenwood Park
for
and
people
put a
that are just
stadium
tuning in,
there?
this is never going to happen.
I know.
But this is kind of fun to talk
It's-
about.
it's-
And you know what? We've crossed over. Last night was kind of like the last bastion of college NFL separate until last night.
What do you mean by that?
Red Panda made her NFL debut
Yes,
last
I
night.
saw that. You should know this.
at
Mina
Lucas
Times
Oil.
was Instagramming about it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Red Panda NFL debut. We blurred all the lines now.
Yeah.
She just likes money. She was off for
Who
4
doesn't?
Whoa. 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 Whoa.
She
Whoa.
did it on grass. She
He
did it on
hates Red
turf.
Panda.
She did it
Yeah.
on turf.
She's
for her.
amazing.
Okay. Whoa. All right.
He cheered her downfall last year.
Down over
I am
there.
surprised that she has not been at the Great Wall of China with her act.
Okay.
And you'd
that
say,
is- that
can
is
she
a
do it on
little-
cement? Yeah, she can do it wherever. But now the NFL has gotten a taste of the Red Panda. We've blurred all the lines.
Well,
she used
she-
to be ours. We shared her with the NBA. She hasn't been done to the NHL, which would be like the next
Ooh.
step.
Okay.
Ooh.
First off, she broke her wrist on hardwood floor. Can you imagine what she would do on ice?
By the way, comeback player of the year candidate,
Philip
Red
Rivers.
Panda.
Philip Rivers.
I'm vibing with you here.
Red Panda's older. She's
Yeah.
like 65.
No, she's not.
She's younger
Yeah,
than Kyle
no,
Whittingham.
no.
Figuratively and literally.
I'm on my phone not because I'm not listening to you. I'm on my phone because I'm actually looking now at what. So Philip Rivers was plus 3,000 before yesterday to win the comeback player of the year. I'm curious as to what he is now. He is now plus 1,600. It's still Christian McCaffrey minus 700 at this point to win the
Okay,
award.
Red Panda is 55. They don't know what
Not-
year. They don't know
not
what
too far
year.
off from each other.
They don't know what year Wrong New was born.
Really?
That's her name.
She
She just goes
It's like
by-
Julio Franco
Hey,
she
but
was
if you know,
off-
you know. You just call her Red Panda.
or
she
Red.
was- she
Middle
was-
name is Crystal. Did you guys know that?
Did she tell you that when you met her?
think she'd get irate if somebody in the stands called her by her real name.
Oh,
yeah. You think she'd go
She'd
and
get off
slap him and
She'd
She'd get off the unicycle.
Yeah, go and slap
Oh.
him, get suspended for 2 performances.
All right, so Red Panda last night performed in the NFL. Philip
Yeah.
Rivers is like, man, this is like the 15th time I've seen you. Okay.
What does that mean? I didn't get that joke.
He's been around.
Yeah.
Well, she missed 4 months, so she needs to book all the dates she possibly can.
only 4 months.
She's in demand. If all she wants is money, then you solicit yourself.
Mhm.
But she's in demand. People are soliciting you.
You know what? What if they brought her out like, they have special guests for the
They don't
Super Bowl?
arrest you for prostitution if people are coming to you. They arrest you for prostitution if you're going to them.
That's fair. That's
What
a
if,
valid
what if
point.
they, she was one of the guests for the Super Bowl halftime show?
Hell yes.
Like
No.
as opposed to
No?
whoa, what?
Why not?
What?
The
What-
world.
The world's not ready for that? Is she
Bad
too
Bunny
big?
and Red
You're
Panda?
about to find out if the world is ready for Bad Bunny and company for the Super Bowl.
I
and
think
the-
it's going to
there's-
be. I think
the
it's gonna
just
be a great
awful
show.
hot takes on Twitter. I don't think they would mix because there's no song that he has that I think she could perform to,
I think
and it would
that-
throw her off.
Can you imagine if
Plus, she don't share. She's got the stage, man. The spotlight, middle of the floor. That's Red Panda.
Can you imagine if he was doing a little merengue and she was in the background and she was just flipping bowls on the top of her head?
She isn't some circus in Vegas. She is
Gary,
living, breathing, real
She's on
performer.
wait. She's on a unicycle throwing bowls on top of her head. You're telling me she ain't a circus act? That's literally the definition of a circus.
There are
act.
no animals involved.
That is a
Circus act.
skill. Wow.
Circus acts are skills. I'm not saying
People are 50-50 on my It's a Wonderful Life take.
no one's
now-
50-50.
Yeah,
Nobody
John is.
Nobody's 50-50.
John,
Everybody, you are.
I'm
are
forced to read this email.
90-10.
I'm reading
Which,
this.
by the
email.
way, we don't. If we're talking about some of the greatest moments of the Gary and Matt show, the uncrustable argument, raspberry versus grape.
That was.
I was firm in command.
Was I here for that show?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
you
I
started.
have no idea.
It was strawberry
You started
versus
this
grape.
argument. It was strawberry versus regular grape. You stuffed the ballot box. I know that you did.
Hmm.
I know that you went ahead and you started texting people to go ahead and vote strawberry because I was up for forever. And then all of a sudden, 50 votes came and they all just happened to be for strawberry.
People
Thank you to
vote
everybody out there. You have a little something in your stocking. John says It's a Wonderful Life has a good message. It is unwatchable.
That is a bad thing.
I wonder, can you favorite emails? All
You
and
could pin
I
it.
have watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation during the summer before. Thank you. Thank you.
I have watched Elf in February before.
Elf's a good movie.
Hmm.
Elf is a
Hmm.
The
I
late
think-
great
huh.
Jimmy Kahn.
Things are changing.
Elf is my favorite Christmas movie ever. Elf might be like a top 10 movie of mine of all
Hmm.
time. You
Um,
sit on a throne of lies. You smell like beef and cheese.
Bruin Steve says it's less a holiday romp and more a moral drama wrapped up in Christmas. Fast-moving or ironic fans may bounce,
Deep.
but if you're open to earnest, reflective storytelling, it often hits deep. Not bad, just not for everyone. Thank you. I think we're having some reasonable takes about It's a Wonderful Life. The message is fantastic. We need more messages like that. It's not the way the movie rolls is not for everyone. Okay. The Athletic has just put out their top 10 portal quarterback rankings.
Oh, fun.
Nebraska does have somebody that is in the top 10. They go with Sorsby, Hoover, Levitt, Rocco Beck, Dylan Raiola, Legway, Mestamaker,
Wow.
Pribula, Joseph, Aiden Childs,
Mm.
Kenny Minchie, Caton Hauser, Aaron Philo. But let's go back to Aiden Childs, who we are going to get talked into this. And I think Nebraska's interest is genuine. I think there's a possibility that they have a face-to-face. And it's not just because of, you're trying to connect the dots. I just want to give you a couple of quotes here.
Go ahead.
Nebraska is going to go get 2 quarterbacks. They're going to be Latif level or higher.
Mm-hmm.
They will be much higher than the guy that just went into the portal because that guy was a 4th-string quarterback. Okay, so it's 2 quarterbacks in the portal.
Davila, yes.
Latif or higher. And Childs, the head man had some things to say about Aiden Childs. This was in Vegas. Dynamic, explosive player, one of the better quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Now, these are quotes before Nebraska played Michigan State and beat Michigan State, ironically, in a game that Aiden Childs got pulled.
Yeah.
He's a thinking man's quarterback, which I respect. Now, I'm going to read these, and you think if you've heard these phrases describing what Nebraska's looking for. He's a thinking man's quarterback, which I respect. He's completing almost 70% of his passes, right? So he's taking what's there. He's protecting the football, and he's dynamic. Now, this was on the heels of Michigan State played USC before they came to Lincoln. There's a pro-style offense, so he does all the pro-style things. He's truly playing quarterback. He's going, outside zone to outside zone away. He's going outside zone to naked or play action. He's going to play action away. Aiden Childs, of all the opposing quarterbacks, Rule probably talked about him most on his Monday presser. He can run. We'll obviously see the quarterback draw and all the things that we've seen, so we'll have to prepare to stop that. But it's also his ability to run behind the line of scrimmage when needed to and create plays. But explosive player, one of the better quarterbacks in the Big Ten. That's what Rule said about Aiden Childs before Nebraska played Michigan State. Now, listen to what Rule has talked about quarterback in the last couple of weeks. There's some phrases that he has used that he described Aiden Childs. So it kind of makes sense to get a face-to-face, and then we'll see what happens. But I thought that was kind of interesting as more and more people are connecting the dots. And then they're connecting the dots going, oh, who had a better offensive line, Nebraska or Michigan State? Which Michigan State insiders will say attributed to part of Childs' struggles this year.
Sure.
I was disappointed because he got a little dinged up in the game here, but I was disappointed in the way that he played because I thought he would be a factor, especially his legs, because we had just come off Underwood.
You and I,
and he was, Dylan was, Dylan didn't have a fantastic day, but Dylan was the better quarterback.
Oh, big time. You saw my face the entire time.
Yeah.
I'm very I'm hit or miss on him because, and you and I talked about him in the preseason. He's a hell of a prospect, man. I mean, he's big, he's fast, he's got the measurables. He was a 4-star for a reason. It's just one of those things where you go from a quarterback that did not take the jump from year 2 to year 3 like you hoped to another quarterback that did not take the jump from year 2 to year 3 like you hoped. And he had that leg injury that kept him out for the final 4 games of the season. There also just were times where he was just straight up playing bad, and he got banged up and didn't go back into games. And I kind of saw a lot of the same things from him in his second year at Michigan State that you saw in year 1, which was the franticness in the pocket and kind of slow to make some decisions. It's not as if he is. People were like, oh, check down Charlie. Dylan, didn't really throw the deep ball and all that stuff. Well, Aiden Childs' yards per attempt was 6.9. If I were to go on PFF, which it's felt like a year since I've been on PFF, but if I went to ADOT, I'd go and make a guess that his average depth of target is probably around the same range as Dylan's.
Yeah.
And so, it's once again one of those things, Gary, where the only reason why I'm because I think he's a hell of a prospect.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, though, you're bringing in a guy that you're crossing your fingers and you're hoping to develop and you're hoping to make better and you're hoping to fix in a way, right? Because he's got to get faster processing and more accurate and push the ball more down the field. Well, they just tried doing that with Dylan and they were unsuccessful. Now, the one thing that Aiden does bring is that mobility, is that speed, is that power, is the ability to run the ball. And I think, that can maybe offset, and the utilization of that can offset some of the lack of things he has in the passing game. That's how I view him as a prospect.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a fine addition. I'm just not like, oh my God, what a
Nebraska's familiarity with him makes sense.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that popped in yesterday that I would like, might have to become familiar with him, and you can do it as we go to break. Byron Brown, who is not going to stick around South Florida. Take a look at him. And kind of thinking about what Nebraska wants to do. But at the end of the day, what Nebraska wants to do may be the guy that's on campus right now.
Yeah, and that'd be, I think you need to bring in.
There's competition. They're gonna go get 2 guys, and they have to be Latif level or higher. Competition is great.
Yeah. But how would you feel? Would you feel better if they brought in a guy and TJ beat him? or would you feel better if they brought in a guy and that guy beat TJ? I think I would feel better if they brought in a guy and TJ beat him.
I don't know. TJ's got an advantage because this past month is what they want to do moving forward.
Yeah. So he's got a bit of a head start with the 15 practices and trying to learn what the, I guess, original system in a way will look like.
All right. Sam McEwen from the Omaha World Herald is going to join us before the hour is over. We'll come back with you with a quick segment here on Happy Festivus Day. Some great holiday hot takes. Just keep them flowing. All right. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I don't think that's a hot take anymore.
Wonderful family movie for everybody to enjoy.
It's fine. It's a fine movie. Aiden Child's average depth of target was 9.2. Guess I'm wrong. That's why you can't really trust yards per attempt. His turnover worthy percentage though was way too high.
Yeah.
It's way too high.
All right. He looked a little bit different from one year to another.
Dude, 6% turnover worthy percentage.
Well,
Oof.
there are quarterbacks that get a second chance in this world where everybody is battling to sign everybody else's backups.
That's a great quote.
Gary Matt on 1620 The Zone. Iowa JD, along with many others. This discussion about Aiden Childs from Michigan State. Jeff Sims 2.0. After his first 4 turnover game, this is Matt Rule. We never saw this in practice. If you go and you look at Sims' 3 years at Georgia Tech before he got to Nebraska, to Childs' 3 years before he entered the portal and is being connected to Nebraska without any, hey, we got a visit date. There's some similarities.
Some.
He got sacked 30 times last year at Michigan State.
Jeez.
21 this year on 203 attempts.
Maybe if he didn't take 3.1 seconds to throw the ball every time, he wouldn't be sacked.
All right, we just a name pops up, we break them down.
That's what this show does. This show has the 1-2 punch of we get a name and you go and look at the tape, and then I go and look at the PFF. And you go, hey, he looks fast. Hey, he looks strong. And I go, well, actually, his pressure to sack percentage actually is a little bit lower than you, or a little bit higher than you anticipated.
I don't know. I kind of like the guy that's currently on campus. I don't know.
You are carrying the torch a little bit for TJ right now. Not a little bit. I think a lot of it. I'm definitely more on the skeptical side. I will admit that. I think he's incredibly talented, and I can't deny I saw a lot of things that I like, but I think I'm warranted to say he's only going to play 4 games before he's supposed to be the guy next season. And
it's not his fault.
It's not his fault. I'm not saying it is his fault.
They'll bring in some people. There'll be competition, but
I can hold experience against people. I mean, I know. Like, I'm pot calling the kettle black a little bit, but like I can, and it is a little worrying.
That's fine. I've said this. It
is a little worrying.
TJ hasn't left any doubt, but he was. I mean, him being Nebraska's quarterback is a little bit sooner than you would have planned.
Yes,
but I'm just trying to keep inserting his name, and not everybody is like, well, you got to get a portal guy because Latif is not the guy. Just he's kind of, but he fits with what they want to do, and he's going to have an advantage because he's here. I'll ask Sam this, but I'm going to throw this out here right now. Do you think his teammates and his coaches have more faith than you as a media/fan?
Yeah. God, yeah.
Okay.
God, yeah. I get that.
I said this yesterday.
I get that vibe.
His
for sure.
teammates, his demeanor is completely different from the guy that he was backing up.
Yeah. Oh, big
and
time.
his teammates have reacted to him a little bit differently. So if we're ranking the 3 levels of people that have optimism on TJ Latif, rank them for me. Teammates, I might take out coaches because they're going to be optimistic. They're not going to say, guys, okay, Dylan, why'd you have to get hurt?
Teammates, fans, media.
Okay.
Is what I would rank it.
Okay.
But I also, can I be real with you? The optimism coming from that building is no longer something I fully invest in anymore.
That's why I took out the coaches.
I know. Because Herschel Walker might be in the portal and should be in the portal. Probably running for one of the teams that they played earlier in the year. That wasn't in the FBS.
What if TJ is at some point you got to commit to a high school guy and hey, let's build around him.
Yeah.
You got him here for a reason. I think you would kind of know by now if he's a guy that can move the program forward. But what if he has the advantage of not being Dylan? Because with Dylan, there comes a different skill set and a different demeanor.
I agree.
And some guys react differently.
I think I do think. Well, I think,
and we don't know that because we're not there every day, and we haven't seen interaction for, 12 months.
But isn't like Dylan was closer to being a brand. Like I looked at Dylan more of a brand than I did as like a football player. I think TJ's just a football player in my eyes. He's a kid who plays football. And
there's 105 guys.
Yeah.
So Dylan was part of 105, but it was 105.
Yeah.
TJ Latif, part of the 105.
Yes. That's how I view it. I don't know, man. I'll just say it. Like it was just a lot of, Dylan's face being out there more than others that I think rubbed people the wrong way.
Program was not prepared to handle
the
that kind of a celebrity quarterback.
Yeah, and I think it was meant in good faith in the beginning of like, hey,
Yeah.
we want to get him
Didn't
out
work
there,
out.
and
Didn't
we want
work
to
out.
promote
Good
him,
luck both sides.
and I think it ended up
Yeah.
not benefiting anybody. Really.
But in the bowl game, hey, run the ball, nice ball control, give yourself a chance. That's why I'm not the OC. Sam McEwen's going to join us next on 1620 The Zone. All right, welcome back in. Happy holidays, everybody, as we welcome in a jolly man, otherwise known as Sam McCune of the Omaha World Herald. Good morning.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all the rest.
Yes, by the way, safe travels out to Vegas, you and the World Herald crew going out there to cover the Vegas Bowl. So as we get to the end of the year and you in your role, has the World Herald selected the number one sports moment locally of 2025?
We have not yet selected that. Our columnist Tom Chattel always has kind of his rundown of the top sports stories of the year, and I always love waiting for that and kind of seeing that. You know, it's a good question. I think there's been a lot that's gone on here. You know, in some ways, obviously, the Nebraska football season always kind of jumps to the top of the list because it's Nebraska football, and that's just kind of the way it goes. But it's so interesting because sports here is such a big deal. So like Ryan Kalkbrenner wrapped up his career at Creighton, and that was a big deal. He's one of the greatest players in school history, and probably one of the best players in the last 10, 15 years in college basketball. And you saw how much they missed him. Jordy Ball almost got Nebraska softball to the Women's College World Series, but they didn't quite get there. You know, for about 30 minutes on that Sunday, the Coastal Carolina coach getting thrown out of that game was about the biggest story in sports everywhere in the country. And I will not forget that. I was not at the game. I was watching it, which was probably in some ways the best angle to watch that thing on TV unfold. That was that was shocking, you know? And if I were to go back and look at some of our most read stories of the year, that would be way up there because people were stunned by what happened in that moment. You know, the injury to Dylan Raiola, Dylan Raiola leaving, the marriage ending in 2 years between Nebraska and Dylan. So, you know, that's a big story. I suspect that the big story in 2026 is going to be Nebraska basketball, both the men and the women. Maybe just one of them, maybe both of them, making runs in March and what that's going to be. And, of course, the Millard South story. You know, people were super interested in it, and they finished it off, and they did what they were supposed to do. And I think people paid a lot of attention to the way that they won.
I will throw in, because it's personal to me, Omaha men's basketball going to the NCAA tournament.
Yes.
Which I know was heavily covered by you guys.
Yeah. That was a big deal. That was historic for them, and obviously they were very proud of what they did. And you know what? You never know. They could do it again.
They could.
You know, you get the right run in the Summit League tournament. I've watched enough Summit League basketball to think I don't really think there's any team that's just going to blow UNO out of the water. I think they've got a shot. I don't think they're going to win the league, but they've got a shot, you know, and if you've got guys that can shoot the ball, and they do, and they are all healthy at once, which has been an issue. If they're all healthy at once, they got a chance to make a run to March again and get into the tournament again. Yeah. And that would be really cool.
Hey, I kind of know the answer to this, but listening to Rule talk about being back coaching, the defensive line, Roy Manning talking about what it's like to have Matt Rule there. Why doesn't Matt Rule just hire himself?
Well, they might. I guess. I don't know. They could do that. I think some of it's recruiting. You know, if Roy Manning can't do all that by himself, you've got to have a guy in that role who can recruit. I know that Elijah Robinson landed at Texas A&M yesterday. He was not coming to Nebraska. I don't know that was ever truly in play. I know that was a lot. That was reported a lot, but I kind of put that out there a couple weeks on Twitter. I think that was going to happen. I don't know exactly how they want to play it. There's a couple of things that you can do. One, you can say, well, Phil Simpson and Roy Manning are going to do the recruiting, and they're also going to help. But you know, Matt Rule is going to do sort of the technician stuff and sort of be the guy that's setting that culture every day. You can do that. I mean, if that's something that he really wants to do. I know that this program needs to be built along the line of scrimmage, and I did not. You know, and I've written this many times, I don't feel like it was this year. I feel like the emphasis, and there were a couple people who kind of like when I explained it to them and I said, here's what I've seen and this is what I feel like, they were like, yeah, almost like, yeah, maybe you shouldn't have 5 or 6 captains be somehow tied up in the pass game, like the quarterback and a receiver and 3 DBs, and not have a single, guy in the front 7 who's a captain. Like there was an eye-opening nature to some of the things that as it turned out they emphasized, and they've got to change that. And so I think him going down with the defensive line isn't just about, well, they need to get better with technique. I think it's we need to make sure that everybody understands who's really, really important to winning and losing football games. And the offensive and defensive lines are really important. And I think he's trying to emphasize that. And I think going forward, that needs to be the culture. Like, it can't be, and Dylan wasn't even like that, really. Like, Dylan wasn't like this, he liked the spotlight, but it's not like he came out and said a bunch of brash things in his press conferences. I think I would just say that, like, I felt like the program was very oriented on the receivers and the defensive backs, and there's nothing wrong with that per se, but that's not the way they want to have it built. And so I think some of what Rhule's doing is to emphasize what really matters, and he's right about it.
When it comes to the product on the football field, what at this point through 3 years can you trust? And what I mean by that is this. There's these rumors that they're going to go ahead and they might acquire Aiden Childs, right? And, they would have to develop him. And based on their history of developing quarterbacks, I don't know if I can fully trust that will happen. What are things that right now that going into 2026, you, Sam McKewon, you're like, I trust that this is going to look like this?
Well, I think you can feel pretty good about where they're at with special teams. I think they've done a good job of developing that, and I think the punter's going to get better, and I think the kicking game's going to be good. Whoever wins the kicking job, I don't know. I know John Hull was coming on at the end of the season, and that's going to be just a full-on competition through the spring again. But I think they've got competition there, and I think they're in a good spot. And their kickoff returner will come back, and I think their punt returner will. I think Ja'Cory Barney will be back for another year. So I think they'll be good at special teams. I think they will absolutely emphasize offensive and defensive line excellence. Whether or not they achieve that will probably be dependent on who they get in the portal and how well they execute and how the coaches reach the players. So those, I think, are the things that I would trust. As far as, quarterback play, we'll see. And again, there's a lot of different ways we can dive into that. Certainly, you can play the position and get some things out of that role, depending on how you want to play the position, that doesn't require the level of, excellence that people imagine Aiden Childs would need to achieve. Again, he's a talented quarterback. If you're talking about just like raw talent, he has probably more, in some ways, athleticism. He's probably as much raw talent as Dylan Raiola does. I think it's a question of what kind of offense do you want to put him in? What is that offense trying to achieve? Can you get the ball out of his hands? Can you utilize his mobility? Can he play the kind of game that you want him to play? I mean, those are the things that I think you look at. He's got talent, though, for sure. And if you look at a guy, for example, at Duke, I would compare Childs favorably to that guy's skill set, and he had a nice year at Duke. I think that's what you're looking for, is a guy that can run, but's got a big arm, and Childs does, and can make some wow throws when you need him to. And I think Childs brings those things to the table, and he probably won't cost $3 million the way that a few of these guys will.
Hey, let's talk about guys that are currently on campus, because Rob Orich and Roy Manning have done the radio hit, and it's been interesting to hear them talk ball, because they don't know any of the guys that they inherited. So they've got this fresh perspective, and we know that Nebraska is going to play a 4-2-5. Manning said last night we're going to have 4 down linemen, but Orich said we're going to match our defense to the personnel, and then Manning said last night we're going to put our guys in position. The 3-3-5 didn't jive with some of the talent they had. Is there anybody that jumps off the page that, okay, they're going to match to the personnel or their skill set now will be able to shine in this defense where this past year you went, where are you at? Didn't know about you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's interesting is I think you could say that Keona Davis and Williams Noneri and Cade Petchak all have had good moments this year, but I think the defense that they're about to go to will better suit them.
Mhm.
I think they will play from sort of outside the tackle. And again, Nebraska did some of that. I don't want to throw John Butler too much under the bus. They were playing wide nines and going after, guys on the outside and all that. But I do think that from a schematic perspective, they'll benefit from a 4-2-5 or a 4-3 or whatever you want to call it. So those guys will probably benefit from that. I think Riley Van Poppel will benefit from it, not having to play nose tackle or wherever they were lining them up. And I got to go back and do like full film review and see how many times they actually lined up head up on the center or close to head up on the center, and see exactly how that all played out. But I think Riley Van Poppel will benefit from that. Depending on how the reads work, Vincent Shavers will benefit from that. He might be more effective in this defense. Guys like that. I mean, I don't want to speak too confidently about guys that I'm not sure will be here. There's some young defensive linemen where I'm sure that part of what they're assessing, Matt Rule specifically is assessing here in the next 2 or 3 weeks is, okay, can you play here? Do you have the motor? Do you have the whatever to play here? And I think, guys, one of the biggest issues with the offense was assessment of players. Can they get on the field, and are they good enough to play? Because when they're getting out there, they're not doing the things they're supposed to be doing. So there's young guys on this roster on this defensive line who I'm sure Rule's going to go down there and go, okay, you've been here for 2 years. We're going to find out in the next 3 weeks whether you can play at this level or not, and I'm going to put you through the ringer. Now, he's probably going to use that word, but it's going to be rigorous, and he's going to put them through it. And so, this is now. And so I'm guessing they want to assess that, and then they will give us a sense of what they think they can or can't achieve based on that assessment.
Is there a position on this team that you genuinely look at and you say, no, you don't need to go out and acquire that position in the transfer portal?
Well, I don't know that they'll go out and get a tight end. Now, maybe they could get one, but I think they're probably going to stand pat there based on the players that they have and just want to keep developing them. I could be wrong. They could go out and get a guy. That's possible. I mean, apparently they need offensive linemen. That's all I've heard. So they need to go out and get a couple guys. Again, that's probably why Donovan Ryle is not here.
Sure.
Is because the guys that they've had in the program for 3 or 4 years are apparently not quite ready to take on that role, except for Gunnar Gatula. 3 years. I mean, if you've been here 3 years, and you're going into your redshirt junior season, you would hope that those linemen could be at least one of them or two of them.
Yeah.
Could be major contributors. I think one of the things that happened is they got a couple guys that were undersized. And when you do that, they got to be great technicians. And then I think they kind of messed around with the guard and the tackle thing. Now you got Grant Bricks back out at tackle, which is probably the best place for him. And so, I guess they need to go out and get linemen again. But maybe Jeep Wade doesn't have enough time. I'm guessing they're going to go out and get offensive linemen because he doesn't have enough time to figure out what these guys are and aren't in the month's time between now and the portal opening on January 2nd. So I would say offensive line, but they won't. So I think they're going to go get a couple.
But man,
and it might be guys that Jeep Wade knows.
God, they have, and there are some guys from Georgia Tech and South Carolina that were recruited by the 2 guys that are on campus. So there's a connection there.
Right.
But man, they have a lot of offensive linemen. They're just sitting around going kind of on the line of the defensive line and matching personnel. Nebraska's going to run more pullers, more counters.
Yeah.
Are there guys on campus that are athletic enough to be able to play in that system? Because I remember one of the best plays that Lutovsky made in his career was 2 years ago where he pulled and he just ruined people on the edge. We didn't see him pull much this year. So that's probably another question, right, Sam, is if they're going to run where they have more pullers and run those counters where the offensive linemen are going to have to be more athletic, maybe that fits some of these guys' skill set compared to the way they were being taught before in that offense.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I totally agree. I think there were some schematic changes that happened right when Satterfield was calling the offense and they were running, all this stuff that Ron Brown pulled out of the film closet.
Yeah.
Counter tosses. It's neat stuff to watch if you love watching run game. And actually, it's stuff that's coming back in the NFL. I've watched like 5 games this weekend where everybody ran that counter toss. Not the great success, but they ran it.
Yeah.
But what I would say, yeah, they do. And so like, there's a lot of that you can kind of bring back. I do think they have athletes on that roster. I do. I think the offensive line recruits that they got are capable. Now, defensive line, that's what I think they're probably trying to figure out. They got a little bit of a hodgepodge there. Now, they knew Keona Davis was going to be a pretty special player when they got him, and Williams Nwaneri is a high-level athlete. They've got some other guys there that I think are more of okay, we kind of recruited you as a tweener. We don't really know, or, you didn't play football until you were 21 because you're from another country. They got to figure all that out. And I think that may be what Rule's trying to do is figure out, okay, who can do this at this level? Who needs to go down to the big sky? They got guys that are, 6'2" and 284. I don't know.
Yeah.
And we threw John Butler, and John Butler was not popular for saying they needed to go. There's only a handful of Aaron Donalds out there, but he was right. And so he was not wrong. And they've got some guys that are, that are like 275 pounds and they're 6'3", and that's just hard to play in the Big Ten. It just isn't. Yeah. We watched 2 elite athletes in Khalil and Carlos Davis, who were both really good players at Nebraska, great pass rushers. They struggled at times stopping the run in the Big Ten, and you're not going to get better athletes than those 2 guys.
Yep.
And they played in the NFL. But you know what I mean? Like, so like if those guys had their moments where it looked like they were getting, moved off their target, and you're talking about guys that are 285 pounds and running 4.7s in the 40, then you got to be realistic about, and that's where the historical understanding of what's transpired is helpful. And I think when you go out and get defensive linemen, you have to favor size and raw whatever, and then try to build it. So I'd rather roll with a David Hoofkin, who obviously is learning the game, than roll with somebody who's undersized and basically needs to be an elite technician in order to survive. Yep. But that's me. I don't know what they're going to do, and I think we'll find out here in the next 3 weeks. When that portal opens, you're gonna find out if they're going to keep all those linemen, or if they're going to have some of them leave and they're going to move on to, some other approach.
Yeah. Sam, as always, we appreciate it. Have a wonderful holiday season, and we'll talk to you in the new year.
All right, take care.
And so Sam McCune of the World Herald. Lots of defensive linemen, lots of offensive linemen. On my man cave board, I am down to 16 defensive linemen.
Okay.
I am down to 17 offensive linemen.
Is Carlon Jones on one of your D-line boards?
They have to be in the program.
Oh. I thought
I'm talking about who's in the program.
Who's in
now.
the program?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant who like you were targeting in the transfer portal.
But I think we will find out, because Rule's on the defensive line coaching, and you have a brand new offensive line, 2 eyes. The guys that stay are the guys that are going to play.
Yeah.
The guys that leave are ones that they fanned on with evaluation.
I'm not saying to
3 week. It's a 3+ week tryout, basically.
That's awesome.
With people that really don't know you.
Yeah.
Except for the head coach.
3 weeks of opportunity. Real quick. This is an insider info. This is me just going back through the tea leaves, right? Do you remember Carl?
Nebraska
Jones?
recruited him.
He recruited him. He committed
to USC.
He committed to Nebraska. Then he got an Ohio State offer, decommits, and then eventually goes to USC. He's in the portal now. Okay. 6'3", 310 pounds, was a 4-star. I don't know if he was a Nebraska guy as much as he was a T-Knight guy. So maybe there's a little more interest to go to Florida State. But I wouldn't mind if hey, remember when you wanted to come here a couple of years ago? We got some openings, my man.
I'd love to hear also when they get out to Vegas and they start practicing, and I think media get a little bit more access. Where's Malcolm Simpson at?
Great question.
Because he was a big pickup on the defensive line, and he didn't play at all this year because of an injury.
And people have to remember, Keona Davis came on during the Pinstripe Bowl. We saw it
Yeah.
like really
Yeah.
came, and we were like, oh, look at 97. Like multiple times we were like, oh, look at 97. That could happen with Simpson.
All right, 2 more hours to go. A little bit later, Brian Christopherson and Andy Kindy on 1620 The Zone. Oh. I mean, how good does Taylor have to be to make a song about the Christmas tree farm? Oh,
This is a banger.
Her future husband leads the Pro Bowl voting for the second straight year.
Oh.
Thank you, Swifties. I have diagnosed what has happened to the Chiefs.
They got old?
No,
I mean,
they put Chiefsaholic in jail.
is that what happened?
Since he got jailed, they've lost in the Super Bowl. We lost Mahomes. We missed the playoffs. And now we're leaving Arrowhead.
Yeah, but that
Free Chiefsaholics so the Chiefs football can be back. It's simple.
That guy robbed banks. That guy did enough crime to be like incarcerated for multiple years.
I don't know if you heard what I just said. Ever since he's gone away and can't go to Chiefs games, look what's happened.
I think you made a deal with the devil, and I think you walked out pretty fine.
Somebody did.
Yeah, I think you walked away pretty okay, my man. You won 3 Super Bowls.
Hey, Jerry Jones made one in the 90s, and now look.
Hey, we're going to move into a new stadium in 2031. It'll be the end of
It looks
Mahomes'
awesome.
career. You got to win some rings there. You can't walk into a $3 billion stadium and be scuttering along.
Isn't it $4 billion total?
Probably inflation.
Because they're building a practice
Well,
facility.
yeah,
and a bunch
the
of stuff over there.
stadium's $3
Q39
bill.
stadium.
The facility is $1 bill.
Oh, I have a complaint real quick. And I'll say his name because I don't care. Josh Peterson
Whoa, we
Tweeted
work
out.
with him.
tweeted out yesterday. He was like, "Oh my God, stadiums have gotten so boring." Looking at the rendering,
He's
of-
not
Yeah.
wrong.
What do you mean? What do
Well,
they? What,
okay,
what
so
do you want
hold-
it to be a
time out.
triangle? You want it? I mean, you know,
Time
Memphis.
out,
I'm with you, Josh.
Time out.
All right, you got
Wait,
one.
Josh
You
is
got-
back on
you
Twitter.
Hold
got
on.
2 left.
Time
You
out.
got 2 left. I think his name is Tosh Jeterson
Nice.
on Twitter,
Nice.
if I'm not mistaken.
We don't know exactly what it's going to look like. Like the initial renderings make it look like the Roomba. So I'm going to wait, and then I'm going to wait for their exact location, which I think is right next to the Speedway,
Right.
because you look at access from 70 and 435. I mean, domes are becoming necessary because everybody wants the Final Four. They want a Super Bowl. They want to make it a year-round
They want a
venue.
WrestleMania.
Sterilization.
And it's also wild that in 2031, because the Broncos are getting a new stadium, all of the AFC West will be indoors. So yeah,
That's wild.
I mean, Arrowhead didn't have much character. It was loud. The tailgating was great. Stadiums nowadays have less character because they have less seats. They have more suites.
Price out fans.
I mean, but I'm going to wait on the Chiefs because I don't think what they showed is the finale of what it's going to look like. But here, and now the Royals are up, and it seems like nobody wants the Royals. I mean, can you imagine Kansas City losing both the Chiefs and the Royals, which it looks like it's
Oh.
going to happen? But they did it to themselves
Yeah.
before they ever got to this point. One of the great mysteries, and you got to see this back in August when Happer had to explain to you that we're in Missouri, not Kansas.
I thought we were in
Which a lot of
Kansas.
people, you're not alone. There's a lot of people think that Kansas City is in Kansas, not in Missouri, or the fact that there is Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri. One of the great mysteries will be that Truman Sports Complex, which I have been to so many times, like many of you, they never developed the area around it.
Nope.
It is
Yeah.
so wild that in the history, that place opened up in 1973, and it was cutting edge. You had a baseball and football stadium right next to each other. They were not inside of the same, like all the other cookie cutter places in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
Mhm.
They were separate stadiums.
Mhm.
And that area in Independence, right there with interstate access, that they never developed the area.
Mhm.
They never built more hotels. I mean, the Adams Mark was the only one. And then the one across the street, now Drury Inn. But they never built up the area around it.
Yeah.
It's just,
There was
It's-
a banger Subway across the street.
I mean, they did it to themselves. They
don't
just, there was
disagree.
nothing that built around the stadiums that
You-
kept you there. Like you stayed in downtown Kansas City or you stayed somewhere out there.
Johnson County.
And then you went to the stadiums and went back. There was no, not even like, when Gillette Stadium was built and they said, hey, let's build Patriots Town. Nobody said, hey, outside of the parking lots, let's start to develop this area.
Well-
It's one of the great mysteries that
Husker Town.
Kansas City did it to themselves. So I don't feel bad for them. I don't live there. So my taxes are not going up on
Sure,
the Kansas
sure.
side. And I'm not going to feel a loss. I'm still going to go and watch the Royals and the Chiefs, and I'm still going to call them Kansas City. But the fact that around the Truman Sports Complex in the city, around that exit, nothing got built up is wild.
I remember both you and Happer explaining to me when I was like, "Yeah, we can go to like a restaurant around the game, or we can go to go to the bars beforehand." I was explaining I was going to try and take a Kansas City trip last April. And You're
Mhm.
like, nah, dude. Like, you go to a hotel 20 minutes outside, you drive 20 minutes there, you drive an hour back, and then you hang out wherever you hang out.
Go
they're
hang
like-
out on Lawrence.
They're like, just get in your car and go. Like, and if I'm not mistaken, you could correct me if I'm wrong. It wasn't like a nice area either. It wasn't the safest.
No,
area
it's not
either.
the safest area. And
Yeah.
driving outside of the stadium area on the streets to get into the parking lots. Yeah, I mean there's
Yeah.
nothing there.
And
It's an industrial area.
And it's funny too. Like people might make the argument, well, the history, and you don't want to put makeup on on it. You don't want to lessen like the old school environment. Dude, Wrigley did it. I mean, let's be real here. Like Wrigley had a McDonald's. Okay, Wrigley had a McDonald's and a couple of Irish bars behind it, and it was fine, right? It was Wrigley, and people were like, oh, like why would the Ricketts come in and they're going to build a hotel and they're going to build these bars and they're going to glitz it up and they're putting makeup on a pig and they're Wrigley's going corporate. Dude,
Now it's happening.
Dude, Wrigley is the best place to go.
Yeah,
like year round.
Yeah, you want to make it a destination.
But January to December. You want to drink. It is March, and people go, "Hey, let's go to the Old Crow.
Yeah.
Let's go to the Tap. Let's go to Sluggers. Let's go hit the Wrigley bars." And they are making money year round. It used to be you went to Wrigley from April and you ended not even October. You ended in September. Okay, now it's like it's a destination area, which is why it's same thing with Atlanta. They make that power and light.
Atlanta, New England, other places that are building like towns like
Dallas.
They're trying
awesome.
They're trying in St. Louis. I mean, they've got it's not Cardinal Town, whatever is out beyond left field.
Right. It's kind of like power and light.
Yeah, that's why like Memorial Stadium. Memorial Stadium will never have a dome. Okay, sorry everybody out there wants it to have a dome.
Hell yes.
But they understand stadiums now are built to make money. Okay, if you're going to invest like Wyandotte County. Right, they're giving a lot of money to this stadium.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be able to reap the benefits of maybe a Super Bowl one day, maybe a Final Four, WrestleMania. But you want to make it a year-round destination, and with the dome, you can do that.
Yeah,
that's why I was really intrigued. Now, some of Trev's ideas with new Memorial Stadium were pretty wild, but the fact that they wanted to have a Husker Town, they wanted to buy the alumni, the Champions Club across the street, and make that into like a Husker Town. Because they want to make, and Dannon wants to do the same thing, wants to make Memorial Stadium a year-round destination. They're going to use it more during the summer for concerts and shows and, events, and you can rent parts of the stadium out. I mean, they want to do that. That's what stadiums are these days. But the fact that they didn't build up around Truman Sports Complex, and now Kansas City, Missouri could lose 2 pro sports teams, huge win for Wyandotte County. Huge win. It is day 13 of 23 straight days of football. Today we get 3 bowl games. We get the Bush's Boca Raton Bowl. You can see the Atlantic Ocean from the top of the stadium. Did you know that at FAU?
No.
They remind you.
Also, I was told they don't want to be called FAU anymore. They want to be called Florida Atlantic.
Okay.
Toledo and Louisville.
Nice.
Both 8-4 teams, 1 o'clock on ESPN. All these games are on ESPN. New Orleans Bowl tonight. Western Kentucky. Former voice of Nebraska basketball, Randy Lee, longtime 20-year voice of the Hilltoppers, against Southern Miss.
Okay.
Randy is not playing. He's just broadcasting the game. And the game that I have some interest in that has a local connection.
Whoa.
The Scooters Coffee Frisco Bowl played at the Star.
This was a great game last year.
Yeah, it was also a great when we got our gift package from Scooters.
Yes.
Where is our Scooters gift package for the Frisco Bowl?
I didn't get one, but
you weren't here yet.
Memphis. I was here.
Yeah, you hadn't been here long enough.
No, well, there.
That's true.
That might last a couple of years. Memphis versus West Virginia.
Rich Rod
in that game.
It was last year, right?
Oh wait, the last year.
It was sick. And then one of the, I think it was last game was Clement. He ended up playing wide receiver for Illinois. He was awesome this year.
This year, intriguing game.
Okay.
8 o'clock tonight. 10-2 UNLV.
All right.
Against
8-4
Ohio, which
Fighting Franks.
I know Sharon Moore has taken over in
Ohio.
He is no. He's taken over on his couch. This is day 11, and he's watching Biff Poggi just destroy his program. It's not his program anymore.
He goes, "We've had a malfunction for the last 5 years," was an all-time Biff quote.
I see what Biff is doing. Biff is sullying the waters at Michigan so he gets the job.
Oh,
Smart
I'm sure.
move.
I'm sure.
Pro move. But why is, and remember, Nebraska opens the year with Ohio in the Frank Solich Bowl on September 5th. So Ohio, they play tonight. The football coach, Brian Smith, has to thank Sharon Moore because all the stuff going on in Michigan, the Ohio AD, or the Ohio football coach, excuse me, and his extramarital relationships that got him fired
Yeah.
haven't got as much attention. Now, I know it's Athens, Ohio to the Maize and Blue, but that story is wild as well. And Ohio doesn't have a coach. So Ohio still has to hire a coach, and that's who Nebraska opens up with. So there's your viewing interest tonight in day 13 of 23 straight days of football.
So I have not read the full extramarital affair of Ohio's head coach, but I did see that originally people thought that he got fired because he was drinking in his office, and like coaches would drink with him in his office, and he would have he had a bottle of alcohol in his desk, and that was the reason they got rid of him. And the comments were like, "Oh, I'm screwed then. I'm gonna get fired for my 9 to 5 if keeping a bottle of whiskey in your desk for people come over." And then we found out, there was a lot of meat on that bone, if you will.
We should have a program director here. He is long removed. He would hey, you having a rough day? Come into my office and he'd pour you a drink.
My dad,
It's nice.
my dad worked at U.S. Bank in Milwaukee, and he always had a bottle of whiskey in his desk. And
Old school.
On the end of Friday, he had his core group of guys, and they'd come in and they'd have a glass. And then somebody got really, really mad at my dad and tried using that against him in HR.
Yeah, you got to be.
He ended up being a.
And HR is like, well, do you want to drink from
Well,
my bottle?
The guy, the
No
program
comment.
director, he wasn't the program director of the Zone, so don't put two and two together. He was a program director of another station, a music station in this building. He did not drink, but for his jocks, they're having a bad day. He'd say, "Hey, come in my office, sit down, let's talk about it." And he'd pour him a drink.
Wow.
I was like,
I need a therapist like
he never talked to anybody on the Zone. And then one day I was like, I'm hearing this story. Let's go talk to him.
Yeah, you're gonna be like, did you walk in and be like, I'm having a really bad day?
Yeah, he didn't offer me a drink.
Oh, come on.
So this is what happened in Ohio, if you're not familiar. So Brian Smith was the head coach. The school detailed affairs, an undergraduate student and another woman while separated but not divorced from his wife. And then the part of the school also alleges that Smith was intoxicated during a public appearance. He denied being intoxicated at an event and said the relationships were consensual. There will be lawyers in Athens, but there will be Ohio football playing tonight. So do what you will. I'm not sure how much of that roster will stick around, but they got to hire a head football coach.
That would have been a fun job for Brian Hartline to get. Go from Ohio State to Ohio.
He'll like Florida better.
I think he will.
South Florida's moving into a new stadium.
Yeah, it's nice.
He walked in there where if he goes down there and does work, he's not going to get the low level, like Big Ten job. He'll get the middle tier job.
Well, another thing is too is that you don't think he's going to find some wideouts in Florida that is just literally
Probably
in
not.
his backyard.
Probably not.
Yeah,
Couple.
hot take.
All right.
Here's a Christmas gift.
Here is for the final time in 2025. And I have to apologize to him because I read up on his YouTube conspiracy about the asteroids or whatever the hell was coming close to the Earth. It actually did on Friday. Here is Nebraska Ball Mike. Hello.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello. How you doing? Merry Christmas.
I'm good. Merry Christmas to everybody. Happy holidays.
Yep.
I've been in mourning for a week, so that's why I didn't call. Not anything personal, just sports-wise, it's been a really rough week for me.
Well, yeah, that game Saturday night.
Saturday, Micah, the girls being sick and having injuries the day of the game.
True.
All
True.
right.
Bears were lucky.
Hopefully the basketball team can make up for it.
Well, they are 12-0, and they're ranked number 13 in the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
13.
13. That's right. They're better
Where's
than the women
Michigan
who are
State?
ranked 20th and unbeaten. What was that?
Where's Michigan State?
Ahead of
Yeah.
Nebraska.
I think they're 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably, I don't know. There's not a lot of movement between now and that game.
No, I don't.
So it'll be top 15 game.
That'll be an absolute circus. That'll be up there with No Sit Sunday.
I hope so. Games sold out
Uh,
well in advance.
It should be. Now, as far as what we're going to do at quarterback, Matt Rule, you can't go get a basket case. You don't need to look Dees Lansing. This is one of those years where, if the class the next year wasn't down the road, I would go get the kid from North Texas and not even ask.
Okay. You like him?
I just think it would be fun to have a connection to North Texas and Steve Austin and Kevin Von Erich and all that. But we're not going to get him because he's not going to want to stay.
Hey, good on you. You just weaved in pursuing the North Texas Mean Green quarterback who had
Great year.
threw for 4,000 yards. You just weaved him into, it'd be great to have a Texas guy here, North Texas, with the wrestling family that is from North Texas. Well done.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes,
Yeah, well done.
Were you Carey or Kevin guy?
I was Kerry.
Yeah, everybody was.
Are you
Good one.
sad because
Especially once I figured out that he did everything on one foot for 7 years.
It's incredible.
yeah.
Excuse me?
When the intercontinental.
Were you also
title.
bummed because of the retirement of John Cena?
I think the whole year was a circus and a cluster.
It's a great
and
take, Mike.
didn't need to happen the way it did, and
I agree.
now they're going to have to work. And they don't want to work. All they want to do is make money.
You going to AEW on January 1st?
I'll be there.
All right, it's
I'll be
31st,
there.
by the way. Don't
31st.
wait until the first. You'll
I
miss
don't,
it.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't know if my girl's showing up, but I'll be there.
Oh, Mercedes? She should be
Yeah.
there. I thought she was on the poster.
Is she? That's good.
I can look
Yeah,
for
just
you.
be careful
Just
if
hope
she's
the weather
there.
holds up better than the last time.
Yeah, the weather's gonna be great. You'll be fine.
Okay,
All
good.
right.
I don't think it will.
Everybody enjoy their holiday.
Hey, you two be safe, and we'll talk to you next year.
Okay.
All right, that's Nebraska Ball Mike. I think we cheered him up. By the way, the USA Today has released their All USA Midwest football team.
Midwest football team?
Yeah, the quarterback. I got to scroll through here. I believe he is the only one. So there are two local products that are on the All USA Today, All USA Midwest football team.
Okay.
Quarterback at Millard South and the defensive back at Omaha Central. Torrey Pittman III and Jet.
So I thought that it was for wrestling for a second. Or
Oh.
not wrestling, Jesus. For college
No.
football for a second.
Also, and I think he is still looking for a place, Kian Kaiser from Sydney is on the second team. Wasn't he supposed to go to Iowa State?
I have no clue.
Yes. So he was supposed to go to Iowa State, 6'4", 215. He looked really good this year. Minnesota has just offered him. Okay, so he is on the All Midwest second team, along with two local products.
Is did Claude make it?
Let me look and see if this includes
Illinois. Illinois is in the Midwest.
Is it?
Yes, it is. Very solidly.
I lost where this is at.
It's very much in, it's toward the middle.
I don't know where this went. I clicked out of
Okay,
it.
you're
Oh, hold on. No, I clicked out of it. I don't know. All right, I'll look it up.
By the way, back to my point from Posh Jeterson, who made this stadiums are boring. I just don't know what
Yeah.
people want people to make football stadiums into anymore. They're circular and they have a dome and they have nice
They're
seats.
sterile. They have no anything. It's now
But what,
catered to the rich.
you want them to be like built with crappy material and look old on purpose?
Yeah, popsicle
Well, I
sticks.
think we're all looking for character. That's
Yeah.
what, at the end of the day, that's what we want. We just want some
They're all
character in our
carbon
stadium.
copy. It's hey, Roomba Chicago, Roomba Kansas City.
I get what we're saying.
He
Same time, though. I like air conditioning and comfortable seats.
Whoa.
Okay. And I like parking.
Yes, it includes your home state. He's on the second team offense.
Nice.
A guy that Iowa got,
Oh no.
Hudson Parliament from Brandon Valley in South Dakota,
Yeah, I
Sioux
remember.
Falls area.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
I-
good offensive line name.
I remember you talked about him.
Yeah, he is on the first team. Jackson
Hudson
Camp.
Parliament is an awesome.
That's
O-line name.
a good Iowa offensive line name.
Parliament is a great last name.
Yeah. So Jackson Cantwell,
Yeah.
whose mom Terry
Yeah.
Steer was at Nebraska, Crete legend. He is on the first team. He's going to Miami. You also see, so Nebraska tried to get involved with him, didn't.
Didn't work.
They tried to get involved with Mark Matthews, 5-star offensive lineman.
I saw that.
He's going to Miami.
Dude, we
The
are
U
now.
the U might be back if their money that they're spending is getting them offensive linemen and they're keeping skill skill guys that are local home.
Hey,
Actually building a hell of a roster.
We're now stacking names here of great offensive linemen that flirted with Nebraska that ended up going to college football playoff programs. You had David Sanders over at Tennessee, Brandon Baker over at Oregon, Mark Matthews over at Miami, and then you can add in Isaiah World at Oregon. That's 4 now, where they went after the creme de la creme, and they didn't get any of them, and they lost to the big program.
I mean, there's playoff teams in there, and then there's guys that are going to the NFL, and the guys that are being developed.
All 4 of those guys are going to go to the NFL.
Yeah.
All 4 of them. All 4 of those tackles will
Yeah.
be drafted to the NFL.
Yeah. All right, when we come back, there is something that happened yesterday involving offensive linemen. That I think we need to stop with the eye roll emoji and give it the fist pump. The goal.
Okay.
Emojis make noises.
I was about to say.
Yeah. All right.
That's a new one.
A little bit later, Brian Christopherson joins us. Andy Kendi is well. This morning after Creighton won their 3rd in a row last night here on the Zone. 92-69 over Utah Tech. Next up, Butler on the 30th.
3-game win streak, 84-point differential. I think I'm doing it.
Big game tonight. Villanova at Seton Hall. Kevin Willard goes back to Seton Hall.
Really?
Shane Holloway worked
That's a good
under
one.
Kevin Willard. Also,
Yeah.
we can't go a day without mentioning Bear K. Bear K,
We
Oscar
definitely could.
Robertson, Magic Johnson yesterday.
Yeah.
Somebody is imitating him in college basketball.
Oh no.
And I'm not here for it.
Okay.
I'll tell you what happened yesterday.
Lay down the law.
Coming
Gary.
up next, 1620 The Zone.
Hairball hits the Metro for the bombastic celebration of Arena Rock, featuring hits from 80s rock, Van Halen, Kiss, Journey, Motley Crue, Queen, Aerosmith, and more. New Year's Eve, Wednesday, December 31st at the Astro. You can enter online at 1620thezone.com for a chance to win your way into the show. I would love to go to that. That actually sounds like a great time. Is it a bunch of cover bands or is it
No, that's the real band.
That's the real band.
The real band Hairball does all the 80s.
Yeah.
Freddie
That's a
Mercury
great
loves
band.
Omaha.
I want to say, I mean, let's just brag about this company.
Go ahead.
NRG Media
We work for them.
was one of the first to really like elevate Hairball at Ralston Arena, and it was packed like the
Mhm.
first time.
Our house band.
It was wild.
That's awesome.
And it's grown to as big as it is. But yeah, I think it may not be true or not, but I think we were on the ground floor
There was
of NRG Media
there was a Christmas show at the Orpheum over the weekend on Sunday.
because it's this time of the year.
That'll happen.
And
Yeah.
and it was like I guess it was like an orchestra like type thing or
Were
whatever.
they
And I was-
Trans-Siberian?
dude, it was sold out. It was popping. I have no clue what it was. I got no.
You should
got
not
no
be
idea.
surprised.
But I didn't know how big of an orchestra town that this place can
Big
be.
fat guy
I mean, I
with a
was in
beard.
Shucks in downtown at 4:00, and all of a sudden, the early rush came in. Everybody wanted their oysters and peeled shrimp before they listened to some Christmas music. It was incredible. This is the last show of 2025.
Omaha likes Christmas.
Omaha likes Christmas. It's a brown Christmas. Also going to be a rainy Christmas.
Oh, hold on. I was corrected yesterday.
Okay.
So weather guy Travis, who I got to see in action, the Black Friday game in Lincoln. I was at the place
Oh,
where
Travis. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Travis, who works at Channel 4
Okay.
out in Hastings, but it's the affiliate in Lincoln. So I got to see Travis in action. He said, heard you mention a brown Christmas. I think it's starting to look like a gray Christmas, clouds and potential fog drizzle. It may also
Fitting.
struggle to get to 50 degrees because of it. And he's absolutely right. So if we have cloud cover and the fog, we are not going to get into the record potential setting temps on Christmas, which at one point about a week ago, I was thinking about 60.
Yeah.
Now probably we're about 49, 50.
Kansas City
So-
73 will smash
I
a
would
record
love
high.
to do
So thanks, Travis.
Christmas in Texas.
I've
Christ-
done that a few times.
Christmas in
It's,
Texas seems awesome.
it's warm.
Christmas and
Wait,
Hollis.
you want white Christmas yet you want to do Christmas in Texas?
Well,
the only
because-
thing white there comes in like a $1 bill.
I was going to
You
say.
snort or a margarita
Oh
machine.
Oh Lord.
Hey, you
Okay.
rookies. Cocaine is not as prevalent as it used to be.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
not prevalent
yeah.
at all.
You want your white
I will
Christmas, you
never
need to
be
stay
interested.
here.
Your go-to is not cocaine.
What's your? All I said is I was going to say I would want a barbecue on Christmas. How did this turn into a
You can have a
conversation?
barbecue at your house.
Yeah.
Not in 40-degree weather.
Why not?
What's a pain in the ass? It's windy.
No,
the
it's-
wind is going up your shirt.
Wow, you are soft.
I
You're
almost
the
wore
one who
shorts
puts
today.
your thermostat at 83 degrees when you go to a hotel, and you're complaining about me complaining about cold.
I don't care about a temperature on barbecue. If you got barbecue, you can barbecue.
All you need is a
It's
path
gotta
in the
be-
snow to do a grill.
It's got to be 70 degrees or higher to have a proper barbecue. Also,
Wow,
too,
that's all
prop-
tailgating.
well, a proper barbecue also is everybody's like surrounding the grill, like everybody's kind of around the area.
And you have to
Everybody's
deal with
outside
people.
together. Yes, exactly. I would love that for Christmas. Have a Christmas barbecue. Get a couple of tomahawk ribeyes. Put them on the grill.
With you on the grill part.
and then
but
go
yeah.
ahead. Maybe do a little surf and turf, little lobsters and tomahawks. Derek Kellogg and I, assistant coach for Creighton basketball, we're talking about what our spreads
wrong,
were going to
Kellogg.
be on Christmas. We were both talking about how, and this is,
Is that what you talk about after a 23-point win over Utah Tech?
Yeah, that's exactly what we talk about after a 23-point win. I go, Coach Kellogg, what you got going? He goes, well, I have an Italian wife, so Christmas dinner is
Yeah.
Italian. And this is a take I've had for a while. I always think Christmas dinner should be Italian food. I love Italian food on Christmas. Little clam oreganata, little shrimp
exactly.
fried diavolo.
Yeah.
Little-
Oh, of course.
Most of us don't have people that make the food for us. Well, you sit there and
I
you go,
make the food.
you go,
I make the
"Man,
food.
when is Betty going to retire? Betty has been part of our family. She's taking care of us. Dave says this, and I agree with Dave.
An Uncrustable
It's going to get a like. Real man will barbecue year round.
Yes.
Thank you.
You can always barbecue.
Well, you
Yeah.
told me that you have to have. What do I have to have for it to be a barbecue? I have to have some sort of
Meat.
brisket or whatever, but it's a cookout. There's a difference between a cookout and a barbecue.
Absolutely.
I don't think it was me.
What is? I believe it was you. What's the difference
I don't
between a
think it was me.
cookout and a barbecue again, Jimmy?
Cookouts, well, the barbecue, you're slow doing your meat. You know, like you
you're
have your
smoking
Texas,
something.
the Texas Trinity, ribs, brisket, sausage. I mean, that's something different.
Or you go in the South and you can go to Cookout.
Yeah. Oh yes, cookout.
Cookout is, if you know, you know. Like in the Carolinas,
It's
been to a couple.
delicious.
Oh, hello, in the milkshakes. All right. You can be cooking with John Bishop and yours truly.
Nice.
We will have Big Red Overreaction, the final Big Red Overreaction of the year. People would like Big Red Overreaction every day. They get it from 6A to 6P on this radio station. But you get a specific show coming up after the Vegas Bowl. 2:30 kickoff. Do the time. We'll be on about 5:30, 6 o'clock. We'll have our party hats on. It'll be us and Dick Clark and Seacrest and Andy Cohen and Anderson Cooper, that's fun to watch, especially when they start drinking.
That's a nightmare blunt rotation.
Bishop and I will be drinking with all of you on Big Red Overreaction after the Vegas Bowl on the 31st, brought to you by these people have been great to us this year. Equitable Bank. We take banking personally, despite our owner's bad takes. Says it right there on the copy. No Name Nutrition.
His takes are the popular takes. His
Jace
takes
Dennett,
is the majority. take.
Dingman's Collision Center, Mechanical Repair, Prairie Flower, and Peerless Energy System.
I forgot about the reads of Big Red Overreaction and the 97 of them you have to do.
Okay, as we wind down the season, and this is our last live show until January 5th, we are going to do, we don't know the particulars yet, but we'll let you know.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do a YouTube-only show January 2nd, because January 2nd is going to be a big day.
Oh, I should wake
but
up
as
and
we
watch.
wrap up this year, your favorite sports moment.
Yes. Rory McIlroy winning the Masters.
Okay.
I think people forgot that Rory won the big one this year. Like it happened
I
in
actually
April,
did.
and then like the Ryder Cup happened, so he became like a villain a little bit because it became USA versus Europe and whatnot. But I think that is one of the best sports moment of the years because it wasn't just that he won, Gary. It's that like it encapsulated everything about his career on his way to the win, right? Like him being great on Thursday and Friday, and then coming through on Saturday, and then the double bogey on hole 1, and then the choke putt on the 18th, and just he had every opportunity to win that in regulation, and he just failed to do so, and it took him to win the playoff. I think there also was the drama of the wind on Friday, like knocked off like half the field, including the number one golfer in the world, and it just opened up perfectly for him. And like there were so many moments where you're like, all right, Rory's got this, it's gonna happen, and then you're like, oh my God, he really is a choke artist. And then he ends up winning. And you still didn't think he can't choke after winning the Masters, but he won the Masters. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was poetic.
I went local with this, and I've got 3. One is very personal. The run in January, February, March by Omaha men's basketball
So
to do
awesome.
something that university had never done, that athletic department had never done, and is the greatest athletic achievement in the history of Omaha athletics.
Your call was cool.
Omaha making the NCAA men's basketball tournament, winning not only the conference tournament, but they won the regular season, the trash can, all the attention. It has changed the program forever. We're seeing the benefits this year financially. We're going to see the benefits moving forward. Big reason why there is a brand new facility that is going to house all of the athletic programs is because of men's basketball. Everybody's going to benefit from that. Bud Crawford beating Canelo Alvarez, going out on top. And then the other favorite sports moment is when Nebraska and Cincinnati played at Arrowhead. I thought that atmosphere, that buildup, how we started the year and ended the year a little bit different in terms of optimism.
But fun was
But that was one of my favorite sports moments, to be in one of my favorite stadiums, to have Nebraska playing there. And, I think Nebraska will get one more time to play at Arrowhead before they shut down Arrowhead, probably in a couple of years. But the Nebraska-Cincinnati game, all of the Nebraska fans, all of the tailgating, the stuff we did here on the Zone, that was one of my that's one of my favorite moments. That trio is what I will remember from this year, ahead of some other things.
That was one of the cooler moments I've had here working, was when we were off the clock because we had been on the air for forever. We had an hour, and you go, hey, do you want to walk around? Because I had never been to Arrowhead. And so you and I did about like a half-hour walk, and we basically went around like the entire stadium. And to see you just like point out the stadium and say like, here's like different things about it, and like this is how you park, and these are memories and whatnot. That was dope. That was a great trip. And then I had to leave at halftime, but it was a great trip. And then I had to be on the air until 1:30, and then you walk through the door and you go, bro, why are you still talking? That was awesome.
We've beaten this. We've beaten this game into the ground. Joey says, my two favorite moments happened in the last 2 weeks.
Whoa.
Nebraska winning last second against Illinois, and the Bears winning in overtime last weekend. Omaha making the tournament was close third. Bud winning was huge too, but it was expected by me at least. Let me throw this out there, and I'm not trolling. I'm not just creating stuff. It has nothing to do with if you're red or blue.
Sure.
Why do I think Nebraska basketball getting off to a 12-0 start, now number 13 in the country, if you bracketed the tournament today and it started tomorrow, Nebraska could make a case to be a 3 seed. They're smart. Sanford is much different than he was at Iowa.
Much different.
They are making people take tough 2s and 3s. There's Michigan, there's Purdue, there's Michigan State. Then there's Illinois/Nebraska. And it feels like the Nebraska basketball program might be sustainable for what they're doing. I ask this again. I'm not trolling. I'm not trying to create something. I'm just asking because it feels like this to me. Shouldn't the Nebraska basketball story around here be bigger? Folks, they're 12-0. They're number 13 in the country.
I think it's very big in Lincoln. It probably should be a little bit bigger here. I do also think, though, there is you beat Illinois and you won one big game, and like there might be still a little bit of skeptic. Like I still think people very quietly and silently are waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like I still think because it's just been years and years and years of Nebraska basketball not being this good and not being this relevant and not competing for a top seed, where I think that people are still trying, like they're waiting for the catch. And also too, I wouldn't blame somebody if they said, well, last year they beat UCLA and they went on that win streak, and they beat Oregon and they beat Washington. And we were all sitting here saying, wow, it's a guarantee. It's a lock that they're going to make the tournament. And then they fell apart. Now, I would argue to those people, this team is way better and built differently and more structured to go on longer, more sustainable runs. But I still think just because it's Nebraska, people are hesitant.
All I do is ask the question, because Nebraska basketball, when they wake up on Christmas, they're going to have a men's and women's basketball team that are unbeaten. Nebraska, University of Nebraska and Lincoln. Yeah. Okay, University of Nebraska and Lincoln. I asked the question. I think it should be a bigger story. To me, it almost seems like nationally it's a bigger story than it is locally, but I agree with you on the hesitation of, okay, but the team is different. And there is no other Nebraska basketball team where a potential number 1 overall pick is doing his best impersonation of Berke.
What,
Dybansa. What did he do last night?
I didn't see him.
He had a triple-double.
Okay, that's not doing his imitation of Berke.
You're saying Berke could be 2?
Who had a triple-double before him?
That's just him playing basketball.
Who had a triple-double before him?
Oh, the Turkish guy over at Nebraska had a triple-double. I'm going to go and have a triple-double. He
just
decided to play the best basketball.
They were probably paying attention to Nebraska because they lost to him in the exhibition.
And they may see each other in March.
I also think, too, Gary, like you.
By the way, AJ's deal. 33, 10, and 10 last night.
I need to watch him.
He looked like he should be playing in college.
Did you see him dap up LeBron and like low key look bigger than LeBron?
Yeah, he looks really, really good. It'd be nice to play Peterson at KU, but his family says we're not going to play until we're healthy.
Yeah, he won't.
How about not play the entire year? Just get ready for the NBA.
You were kind of like, I don't know if you were jokey or you weren't being maybe as serious as you were like you were trying to convey. But I also think like the Dylan Raiola news, and we still being in football season and there still being a football game, and Matt Rule's comments, and all the new hires, and the fact that we have now discovered over the last essentially 10 days that there were much more problems going on in Nebraska football than people realized, and it wasn't from dirt sheets as much as it was from just guys going on the podium and expressing it to people. And so I think that football and the transfer portal and just maybe the turmoil that was going on is kind of taken away from basketball in a way?
So Dylan's story, some will be in the top 5. It'll be in the top 10. Probably the injury is more of a story to me than the inevitable.
Sure.
Because you're like, okay, he's going to transfer.
Sure.
But the injury, like the injury changed. Just one injury has really changed Nebraska football.
Oh, God, yes.
I mean, let's say you win the game. Nebraska has a chance to be 9-3.
I don't know if they beat, though, Penn State or Iowa. I don't think they beat Penn State or Iowa, Dylan. I don't think so. I was still, regardless of Dylan being on the field, maybe are the margins of defeat smaller?
Well,
Probably.
you would have, let's say you would have gone to UCLA. You would have had 8.
You would have had 8.
And then you have 1 to win 9. I mean, crazy world. What if Nebraska all of a sudden reverses course and they're good in November and they run the table in November? You're 10-2 and people are like, okay, we got to throw them still in the hunt.
Yeah, they'd probably be in the Vanderbilt category. Yeah. They'd probably be where they'd probably be playing Vanderbilt, where I was playing Vanderbilt.
But there could be, there's the negative of what it did to the season.
Oh, God.
But then there's the positive that it probably kickstarted changes sooner than later.
I agree.
And changes that are probably going to be good for everybody.
And also, too, if Nebraska goes 8-4 and those games are closer between Penn State and Iowa, you might be more willing to, give into some demands from what they wanted to eventually stay at Nebraska. Real quick, we had surprises. I'll just say it quickly. My surprise of 2025, the Four Nations Classic. I was shocked at how awesome that was and how great it was and how it became the appetizer for the Olympics. And this Olympics is going to be massive. And then I have a bold prediction for 2026. Basketball is coming back to Seattle. There will be an announcement in 2026.
Look at you.
That the Supersonics will be back in the NBA. Adam Silver is on, I don't want to say he's on borrowed time, but he definitely is lacking in support recently over what's been going on in the NBA. I think he needs a big announcement to get people excited, to get trust back into his tenure. I think he goes ahead and says, we're going to Vegas and we're going to Seattle.
My bold prediction, Nebraska football beat a ranked team in 2026.
Okay.
All right. Brian Christopherson, Andy Kendi still to come on our last live show of the year until January 5th. It's Gary and Matt on 1620 The Zone. All right, Brian Christopherson's going to join us here in a little bit. So yesterday, I don't know if you saw the video. It was actually pretty cool because it means a lot to Kirk Ferentz, the head coach at Iowa, his connection to Joe Moore. But the Iowa offensive line won the Joe Moore Award. Somebody told me the trophy is 7 feet tall and weighs 800 pounds. Was I being hoodwinked?
Bamboozled,
Led
astray.
But five times it's been won by schools in the Big Ten. It hasn't been around forever. And, was it Rocco Spindler back in August was talking about the Joe Moore Award? I don't think, did Donovan Raiola or Rule ever talk about the Joe Moore Award?
I don't think so.
I think Spindler brought it up because he was coming from Notre Dame where they aspired to win the Joe Moore Award.
Yeah.
And people rolled their eyes, or some were like, I've never heard of the Joe Moore Award. It's time to stop rolling your eyes if you're going to roll your eyes at the Joe Moore Award and have it as a quest.
Oh, yeah.
Because, and it's not just an Iowa thing, it's a Big Ten thing. I mean, look at the teams in the Big Ten that were up for it this year. All really successful, right?
Yes.
Game in the trenches, that's what Nebraska's trying to be, is their category. So I looked up the voting. It is how good you are on third and short, how many times you score a touchdown on goal to go, what is the sack pressure, or no, what is the pressure allowed, the less negative plays that you give up. So the benchmarks to be on the list, pretty impressive.
Sure.
All of those things that we aspire to do. So no more eye rolls about the Joe Moore Award. If somebody brings it up, it should be a goal because, in the Big Ten, 5 teams. Okay, so it's 7 feet tall.
Look how
it weighs
big
800 pounds.
How massive that trophy is.
What a great trophy for offensive line.
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah.
And it's in the Michigan weight room. They brought it all the way into the weight room, to make a statement of this is where we've been, boy. Man, I love it.
I like the metrics of how good you are on third and short and how many times you score a touchdown on goal to go.
So
those are two really those are I like that those are specific to this award when they kind of look at teams and trying to judge how good that offensive line is.
Well, because that's when you face the most adversity, right? That's where it gets this. We've talked about this so many times. Nebraska football's, I think, red zone woes this year came from 2 things. The fact of, number one, I don't think the tight end was prevalent toward the end of the year as you wanted it to be. And you didn't have that big target that you could throw the football to in the end zone and have a box out and catch the ball. And also, too, they didn't have the power back, right? Like we talked about it, the struggles that were third and short against Michigan State and Michigan. And, they didn't really get to fourth and short or third and short against Penn State. I guess they got to it against Penn State and they didn't get it, right? In those moments, if you just have a great offensive line that's going to move bodies, it ain't going to matter, what running back you have, what archetype of running back you have.
The finalists, the semifinalists, again, Iowa won the award yesterday. Indiana, Iowa, Michigan, Oregon, Utah, who Nebraska will see here in a couple of weeks, and Georgia Tech. Also, Cincinnati was on this list.
Okay, I remember watching Cincinnati's offensive line, and I told you, I whispered to you, I go, they're pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
They were stuffing guys. They kept moving McCullough from left to right, left to right, left to right. It did not matter. Both tackles had them.
Nebraska plays against some of those teams next year, and they went out and hired the offensive line coach for one of those teams.
That'd be big.
All right, last hour of 2025 coming up next on 1620 The Zone. America is healing when it comes to bowls. The Pop-Tarts Bowl is now sold out. As we welcome in Brian Christopherson of Husker 24/7. Good morning, BC. Happy holidays.
Yeah. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to all you guys. Thanks for having me on throughout the year.
Hey, not to put you on the spot, but we were talking about this off air. Is New Year's Eve against Utah in Vegas at the Roomba, otherwise known as Allegiant Stadium, is that the first time Nebraska's played in a dome since Lucas Oil Stadium for the Big Ten championship in 2012?
Yes.
Not wild.
Yes, off the cuff.
Yeah.
Good memories to bring us into the holiday season. That's nice of you.
Yeah, it wasn't intended, but yeah.
Wizard of Oz is playing at the Sphere, so Brumps and I will be over there checking out Dorothy or Backstreet Boys. Backstreet Boys are also at the Sphere.
I hear that the Wizard of Oz at the Sphere is an incredible experience, and apparently when they do one short day in the Emerald City, or no, that's Wicked, but when they get to the Emerald City, it's awesome. It's insane. So enjoy.
Yeah. I'm not knocking it. I haven't told Brunts that we're going to it yet, so that might be newsflash to him. But I need to check out that place and form my own verdict on it.
Are you a blackjack guy? Are you a baccarat guy? You strike me as a baccarat man.
I will spend $40 at most at maybe one blackjack table on the trip, and that's it. And I can hold myself to that. I'm pretty sure. Now, Those are famous last words. If I'm calling you guys at 2:30 a.m. And looking for a little extra dough, and I just got a fix, you might need to help me out. But I think I'm going to be okay out there.
Hey, the one thing about bowl prep and then covering it from media, I mean, back in the day when Nebraska was either in Miami or they were in Tempe, practices were open. And it was the end of the year. Yeah. You could go and watch all the practices, and it was great from a media standpoint. It still kind of is that way, but not as much access. So if you get a chance to watch practice, who are some young guys that maybe played or didn't play that you're going to gravitate towards?
Yeah, that's an interesting question right now, because the first thing I'll gravitate towards Sharp is making sure everyone's there, right? And I'm not saying that in an ominous sort of way, but I don't mean that like something afoot. I just, in this era, like the other day I was writing a story about the linebackers as a whole, trying to preview it. And I was going through a few of the guys, and honest to goodness, I do this 365 days a year, but I'm like, is that guy he won't, you start to like question, like, is that guy still here? That sort of stuff. And so that's what my first look is. As far as like young players, if everybody's healthy, and that's another thing you always don't know, because I know like Dawson Merritt was like dinged up in November, but like he's an intriguing name to me as a young guy. Obviously, some of those younger receivers too. Quinn Clark, I think, is someone who has a lot of potential going forward into the future. And then I think you're probably looking though at that D line with intrigue if you're inside the walls for practice and watching Rule coach some of those guys and how that sort of looks with Roy Manning on the scene too. And just sort of the juice they have for a game like this, where on paper, of course, everybody's saying, well, this is a bad matchup, where you look at Utah's 270 yards rushing a game against Nebraska's defense ducked for cover. But I will say, and maybe this is just that optimism that comes from inside a football camp, I do think Nebraska is going to be motivated for this game. And so whether that's enough to keep them in it and fight to the finish, I don't know. But I do sense there's going to be a lot of enthusiasm in their camp out there.
Look, we know that these 15 practices for the bowl games, that is going to be the evaluation period. A lot of the evaluation period for Nebraska football when deciding who they want to keep and where they want to put them on the depth chart heading into 2026. But we've heard it so many times with Matt Rule. We think guys can play, and then we get them out there, and then you don't know till you know. Do you think that there are any performances that could happen in certain positions that can change the strategy of what they might do in the portal in terms of acquiring certain players? Or do you think that by the time we get to the bowl game, that hay probably is already in the barn?
I think a lot of the hay is in the barn. Now, it might alter like the type of player you go at in the portal. Like, I think you have to have a pretty good idea at this point. Like, let's take running back as just one example, since it's been a primary one. Like, Ike Mosey could go off in that game, and that doesn't change my opinion that you should go add a guy to that mix, right? To have him compete in 2026. Maybe that shifts your thinking a little bit, how you play that with your finances and who you're after. I don't know, but I think as far as like, if they have a board where it's like, we want this many, and I'm not saying they do, but this many at this position or this many at that position, I don't think a whole lot in this game is going to alter that. Now, quarterback is interesting because really you might need two guys to come in, right? Like you need someone to maybe come in and compete with TJ. And then, with Marcos leaving, that's a pretty thin room right now. And so you're maybe looking for like another layer to that, even just to bulk up your numbers and give the number you should have at that spot. So I don't know. I do think some guys definitely can help their case. Like I think that running back spot, you're looking at if Mosey or Nelson can say, hey, we could have been doing this all along. Not that they shouldn't have been playing Emmett like they did, but this is their chance. And, TJ, of course, there's a lot of eyes on him about how this is going to go. And it, whether it's fair or not, it's going to shape conversation throughout the portal season and throughout the whole off season, sort of how he plays in this game and like his place in that competition. That's not completely fair, but that's the way it sort of goes. I just hope like he has a full runway and they can turn him loose in practices, because that hamstring thing, it sounds like they've been cautious and it's kind of, I guess, hung around a little bit, or they're just being really safe about it. So I just hope we can see his full arsenal at least.
The 24/7 is heavily involved with the Navy All-American Bowl down in San Antonio. Danny Odom is scheduled to play in that game. Is he not going to be in Vegas for bowl practices, but instead will wait, play in that game, and then enroll when the semester starts?
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be in Vegas. I guess I can't say 100% either way, but he is slotted to be in that game on is it January 9th or something like that. So I wonder if that could take him out of the mix. I don't think it's the biggest deal. I think it's cool for those guys. Like last year at this time, TJ Lateef was at like the Pinstripe Bowl, and I think there were some early observations about him where coaches were impressed. They're out there in like 30-degree weather in the Bronx, and he's cut him through the wind with his throws. And so you can make a good impression, but there's only so much, of course, all those guys who are early enrollees can get done. I think they're more just sort of taking in, this is how we go about things for like a week. And then you dive fully into it in January. So either way, I don't think it's going to hurt him much. But the fact that you have a 5-star recruit like him, who's a finalist for the Defensive Player of the Year award in that Navy All-American Bowl, pretty big deal. Yep. And you go watch his tape, and it's not you don't have to look at it too long to figure out why he is rated the way he is. He covers guys like glue at that level, but he also likes to tackle, and he forces a lot of fumbles. And I don't want to put too much on him, but I love the way he attacked the ball. Yes. There was a little Dijon Gomes to him that I like. You're just always sort of a ball hawk causing a play for your defense. And so we'll see. I think he could be right in the mix early on.
Roy Manning spoke yesterday on the radio. I was very impressed by him. Just his energy, his demeanor, how he communicated about the position, how he communicated about his experiences, kind of having his NFL background and coaching background. As a coach, how big of a role do you think he has on this team, considering the fact that Nebraska's pass rush this year left a lot to be desired?
I mean, he's a huge hire. Probably hasn't been talked about as much as the other guys, but the fact that Rob Orich handpicked him, off that staff. And if you look at Matt, the coaches who have hired Roy, I mean, it's an impressive crew. Like Lincoln Riley hired him twice. Chip Kelly hired him. The late Mike Leach did. I mean, pretty good names that have thought he can bring something to the table. The thing I like about him on paper is his guys got a lot done as far as the pass rush last year. But if you listen to him last night, he's talking about kill the run first, and that's what they want to be about, is getting enough hats in there to make sure you contain that. And he mentioned a Brett Bielema quote about basically the gist of it is how on offense a run game can really take away another team's will if you've got it going. And they want to be the antithesis of that. And I like that. I think people will like hearing that. Of course, those are just words. You got to go do it. But he highlighted that 4-man front, getting a lot of hats to it, earning the right to party on third down, as he said. And I think that's all going to be music to the ears. But, you know, whenever you hire a DC, you got to let him bring in some guys that he knows, you know how to communicate and get his system across. And obviously, Rob Orch thinks a lot of Roy Manning to bring him aboard, and he's a great recruiter. That's the one thing that jumps out about the guys they've hired is you go through Jeep Wade, Lonnie Teasley, Roy Manning. They get after it with recruiting in a big way, and I don't think it's a line people should pass over. Rule said a couple weeks ago, you know, if you're going to be a position coach from me, you better recruit. Sort of deal. And you can definitely see the sort of the push toward that with who they're bringing aboard.
I think it's pretty clear in who they fired and who they've hired. They identified some of the issues halfway through the season. But how long do you think, and I'm going to treat Utah like an exhibition. Not everybody has their full resources. Utah is down 2 NFL offensive linemen, so that's a break for Nebraska, but it's going to be a tough game. How long do you think the manner in which Nebraska lost against Penn State and Iowa, how far into the offseason does that linger?
I think it lingers in our conversations unless they go win in Utah. I know it. I get what you're saying. You're right, Gary. Like it does have an exhibition feel, but you guys know full well if Nebraska went and shocked people out there. And I know some people are like even smirk at that, but that's my point, sort of. People scoff that Nebraska is going to go be in that game. Yeah. If they go toe to toe with Utah, even though some guys are out and stuff and they win and they end up 8-5, I do think there will be serious juice around it because I know how not just this fan base, but every fan base really reacts to what have you done last, you know, like that, so that can wipe away some of the taste from that. There's no question about it. I don't want to downplay that. But it will linger, I think, throughout all the conversations sort of outside the walls all the way until next season. And I think this isn't completely fair maybe, but it's just the truth. People have been peeking ahead at the schedule next year. And I think that honestly is part of like this sort of the reaction you're getting right now to any commentary. It's like, yeah, but they got to play Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, Illinois, you know, like people kind of go through it and they know it's going to be a tough test. You could be a better football team in a lot of areas, but it's not going to be easy to pick up wins against some of those teams. The question though is, can you get the right guys from the portal? And that's where you get helped, I think, these days is you get new blood in there that has no connection with what's happened around here last year or what happened in late November. And I do think like inside your walls, when you get to mat drills, that helps you sort of move on no matter what else is being said.
So I'll ask you a more general college football question here, Brian. USC and Notre Dame, they decided next season they're not going to play. It was reported it was more on USC's side that they didn't have an interest in playing Notre Dame, that they're going to try and get this thing back going in 2031. And I was thinking about this from the Nebraska perspective, right? Next season, you bring up that tough schedule. They play Indiana, Illinois, Oregon, Ohio State, Iowa, Washington, right? You kind of go down that list. All 6 of those teams have won 9+ games at least once in the last 3 years. 4 of those teams have been to the college football playoff. 2 of them have been to a national championship, all in the last 3 years. And so if a team like that in this era of college football, you know, has those opponents and has a schedule, you know, why would they go ahead and add another team, you know, another difficult team to play if they're not in their conference? Is this the new stark reality of college football? And is there any really way to change that now that most conferences, if not all of them, are going 9 games for their conference schedule?
I just don't think you're going to see teams schedule the type of games people want very much at all in non-con until the system changes. And I don't want to get into the whole playoff thing again, because until we actually see like there could be movement on something, it's sort of just wasting your words. It's why I've supported some other playoff systems, even that haven't been as popular. Anything that can produce non-conference games where teams feel like they don't lose something by losing the game in the playoff conversation. And I think right now programs feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's sad to me as a college football fan all my life to see games like USC and Notre Dame go off the table. I'm still confused why USC is playing Notre Dame in Die Hard, admittedly, on Christmas Eve. Unless that was I guess it could have been a rematch in the Aloha Bowl, but it seems odd at that time. But I digress. But yeah, those sort of games, it's a shame. I think we're going to see less and less of them until the system changes. And so, September football isn't quite as good. It just isn't. Like now they're mixing in conference games. Like you'll get some of those early week conference games, which sort of help it out. But there are those weeks now. You'll be on like September 20th, for example, and you look at the schedule and you're like, man, this stinks. There's like 3 games amongst like 50 that really interest me. And so I am disappointed in that part of where it is right now.
Yeah.
There's a few things I'm disappointed about,
Hey,
but that's one of them.
Back to Die Hard. To me, that has always been one of the top like plot holes in Die Hard is why on Christmas is USC and Notre Dame playing. I mean, I'm glad you brought that up. That's a question that has not been answered. It's very much a mystery out there.
It was a bowl game.
You could do a whole segment on missteps in movies related to sports. For instance, Rocky IV, Uncle Paulie's complaining while they're out in Moscow and Rocky's training, that he's going to miss the Rose Bowl. And I would think if the fight's on Christmas, they could get back in time for him to see the Rose Bowl. But there are stuff like that. It doesn't destroy the whole movie for me, but I think there's a lot of college football fans who see that part in Die Hard and they're like, okay, how can I believe the rest of this storyline if I can't believe that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I want to throw in another movie reference in your discussion, your answer to Matt's question about the playoff. It seems like everybody, and the playoff matters so much. That's what everybody's geared around, is that schools are moneyballing their schedule to get to the playoff. If you look at how they're doing, like trying to find the path, the right path. Yeah. Like if we get 3 non-con games that we go 3-0 and then we win this game and then we avoid that team.
We're not going to play USC, but we're going to recreate them in the aggregate.
Yes. That's how we're going to do it.
No, you're absolutely right.
And that's where college football is, where we went, conference realignment, going Big 8 to Big 12, you lose some of, I think the question is like today, because you love the sport, you cover the sport. I think this is a good question for everybody. What makes college football great? And then do we have it right now?
No, we don't. We have a playoff system where on Saturday, 2 of the games people turned away from them. It was on TBS, TNT, whatever it was, while everybody started watching the NFL. That would have been a problem even if the games were if Notre Dame were in it, right? People still might have turned over to the NFL with the power of that league. Mm-hmm. There's just some stuff that's odd. Like, I still think they haven't figured out the portal cycle. Like, I think there's a good point to be made. Dana Holgerson made it that at least with the portal after January, you sort of have your team in place now. And like last year, you're going through spring ball and you're just assuming some are going to leave right after it. That was no good. They still haven't found the right cocktail on that though. And then the non-con is just sort of these preseason games that aren't appetizing to fans at the fullest. Once in a while on a Tuesday, I'll look back at Nebraska's 1981 non-con schedule. Huh. They played Iowa, Florida State, Penn State, and Auburn. Now that was a rarity.
Yeah.
But, and all those teams hadn't necessarily arrived to the point they were now, but scheduling has not hurt a lot of teams though. Like in the playoff conversation. It's the old Bill Snyder model. This has been around a while. I mean, K-State, when they sort of got it cooking, they would play like UMass. It felt like 3 or 4 times in the non-con and, rack up the wins.
Yeah.
It didn't cost them. They'd be like 7-0 and in position to be where they wanted to be. And I think everybody sort of sees that. Like, why put my neck on the line in some of these games when other people aren't doing it? And I don't think I'm going to get as much bang for my buck out of it as far as the other side if a loss happens and how that'll ding me.
Uh-huh. Hey, fantastic stuff. We always appreciate your contribution. Enjoy the holidays. Safe trip out to Vegas. Look forward to coverage with you and Michael Bruns.
Yeah, I always enjoy being on, guys, and Merry Christmas to everyone.
Merry
Thank
Christmas to you,
That
BC.
is Brian Christopherson.
It's funny you brought up the Moneyball because I was going to bring up like holes in our favorite sport movies. The fact that Moneyball went 2 hours and they never brought up Barry Zito was on the team. There was not one reference to Barry Zito.
They miscast Art Howe.
And one of the greatest like rotations in one of the greatest 5 starting pitchers in baseball history. They go, no, we're not going to mention him. It's just, well, ERAs, they were really good. That's what people say.
Barry Zito, one of the top 5 pitchers of all time.
I said the Oakland A's rotation in 2002, if you look at the ERA, is one of the better 5 pitching man rotations.
Twins beat 'em.
Statistically.
Remember that? Game 5.
Yeah.
Twins did beat them.
Yes. Did we ever figure out, so I know a movie that you liked, which is based in upstate New York, Knives Out.
Oh, yes.
Had a Cubs game from 2024 on during a scene in it.
Yeah, Matt Shaw was up to bat, and it was
Benoit
actually
Blanc had money on it.
So Shaw was batting, and there was like a remote. Well, spoiler alert, there was a remote control that got hit, and like it sent a shockwave, and the Cubs game blurred out, and so they were able to, using like Matt Shaw up to bat when his picture goes fuzzy, they were able to determine when the battery was hit, and so that was used. The battery, like that person hitting the battery, was part of the cause of death, if you will. So,
well, I'm done with that movie.
Yeah, I didn't want to spoil it. It's still out there. It was fine.
How'd the Cubs do?
I don't know if they won that game or not, but
no, it's a famous game.
What game was it?
Yeah, it's the 13-11 Diamondbacks Cubs game.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I did not know that was the game they used. That's funny. Well, anyway, yeah, it was a fine movie. I mean, I think Knives Out, the first Knives Out, is way better than the next two. The next two are pretty good, but they're going to make a 4th one. It was good enough for them to continue the series. So I'm excited about that. I love Knives Out.
All right. Biggest baseball movie since Night Swim. All right. We'll take a break. We'll come back.
Haven't seen that one.
I mean, now Wake Up Dead Man is a baseball movie.
This is
anything that has anything baseball in it becomes a baseball movie.
This feels like a retro Gary and Matt episode from like February, where there's been about 19 references that have just gone over my head. Like we've been on a good roll where I've been able to keep up with you two. Just today is because I've been swinging and missing on a lot. Night Swing,
Swim,
Night Swim
could be considered a baseball movie.
Is that like a horror movie?
Look it up during the break.
Okay. This is like the same thing with that one video with what was that guy, Bobby Lee or whatever?
Who?
What?
Now Bobby Lee's the comedian.
What list? What tier is he on?
He's like C list.
And all right, still to come. Andy Candy on 1620 The Zone. All right, final live show of the year. We'll be back on January 5th. And hopefully by then, y'all here in Omaha will realize, and I know this is the holiday season and you're supposed to be nice and all that, we need to start honking more in Omaha.
Yes. Yes,
Okay?
we do.
Because, or we need to have, like now that he's retired, Rob McCartney come back on television and do a 30-minute PSA on zipper merging in this city, which I don't know. I did not take driver's ed in the wonderful community of Omaha, but apparently y'all never got taught this because nobody knows how to zipper merge. But it's okay. I know there's Nebraska nice. It says it on the
We're going
billboards.
slow in the left.
We're not
lane.
for everyone, but we need to start honking more. And there is a reason why they put a horn in your car.
more anger.
So please, and it doesn't necessarily have to be anger.
Thank you.
It's a way to communicate.
Thank you.
It's a way to communicate.
We got to drive.
Stop giving the middle finger and stop honking the horn. Let's be more horny than doing the finger.
We got to
Okay.
drive like we're in India. All right.
Whoa.
Over.
I don't have an experience of driving in India, so
that
I'm,
was not
I'm,
on my bingo card.
I'm ready to listen. Do you?
Over in India. All right. That I have not driven in India, but over in India, they communicate with the horn.
Which is east of
The,
here.
the
Mm.
horn is their communication. You go beep beep, beep beep beep
Yeah.
beep, beep beep beep. I'm to the left of you. I'm on your bumper. I'm right here. Here I am.
They
I'm
also
going right, I'm
happen.
going
They don't
left.
have the roads are probably not as good here.
No.
as over there as they are here.
They have like 8 cars and 6 lanes over there. There's not really
Still
like-
better than Missouri
They're
roads.
kind of just going.
Oh.
They're just moving with the
Yeah.
flow. But we gotta. I honked at somebody 2 days ago because I was taking an exit on Martha Street, right? And I was trying to get off and they were trying to get on and they were waiting for me to go and they didn't see I had my turn signal on. So I'm going, hey, go. And then they eventually went and they flipped me off. And then I went to the right lane.
Yeah,
You sure they weren't saying love the show?
No,
That's
I
Matt
think they weren't.
Master.
People don't know my car. Thank God.
we just need to stop. We need to start honking more, and it's always not a mean honk. It's a honk of communication.
Yes.
You know, like we have
God.
the honks on this station.
Honk honk.
They're not 12-0.
They're 8-5 actually.
At least
They're on a
one.
3-game win streak.
They are.
They could host
Nebraska ball for Creighton.
Great. Yes.
Hey,
It's an ode to my list.
Creighton needs to root for Nebraska. Nebraska needs to root for Creighton. We all live in the same state. Can
They're
we all
used to
not
it.
get along?
No, we can't. It's a
Okay.
rivalry.
I was just
Gary.
asking. Just asking. One-sided rivalry. One team's won 3 of the last 4.
It's not necessarily a one-sided rivalry.
Well, nobody pays attention to the many games before the last 4.
Exactly. That was a one-sided rivalry.
That was true.
Yeah.
That was true. What have you done for me lately?
There you go. You
Yes.
sound like an NFL GM. Maybe they should hire
Mm.
you in Lincoln.
No, maybe they should get Chiefsaholic out of prison
They-
so that he can start
they're
attending
not
Chiefs
going
games
to-
again and things can turn around.
A guy robbing banks to then go to your dynastic Super Bowl run, right, is not going to make your team any younger or any more athletic. or
Don't you
get-
think it's coincidence, though, that the Chiefs' downfall started when he got locked up?
No, I don't.
Lost
think
in the
it's a
Super Bowl.
coincidence. I think
Mahomes got hurt. No playoffs. Moving out of Missouri.
I think you lost. I think you lost good players on your interior offensive line, and I think your running back isn't as good as you thought he was. And I think your first round wide receiver is a bust. And I think that your D line, your defensive lineman number 95, he's old. I think your tight end is old. I think the linebackers you paid aren't good enough. And I also think that what you lost in the secondary, you weren't
Damn.
able to replace in the
Maybe they
draft.
should just fold the team.
I mean,
know.
I'm sorry. Did I not just? It has nothing to
What
do
was
with
contraction?
it has nothing
Speaking
to do
of the
with the guy
Twins and
robbing
A's,
Why don't they
banks.
move to Joplin instead of
Yeah.
Wyandotte County?
I'm
Montreal.
just saying, I think it has more to do with the fact that, Veach probably paid the wrong guys and let dudes get too old.
All right, 2026. Gary's getting a new football team.
I don't know. Let the guy out of prison. I don't know if you've seen all the documentaries, how big a Chiefs fan he was and how important it was, and what the Chiefs did when he was in attendance.
So many people are having Connor Stallions on their shows, and he's
Yes.
popping up on my social media. And then I saw I didn't watch the Netflix documentary about his sign stealing,
It's terrific.
but the trailer made him out to be like a beautiful mind. I've now. This is how propaganda works.
Nebraska
I don't
should
know
hire
if he
him.
did it anymore. Like I used to be convinced that he definitely stole the signs and he
Mhm.
definitely cheated, but he's just so out and about that I think, do people not care that this guy potentially is a D-bag? Because apparently
He seemed friendly. He just
because
loved
apparently
Michigan.
he's on every time I'm on social media, he's
Yeah,
on some
so
sort of
I
show.
gotta-
Did he not do it?
I don't know, because you might be on the same list. So there's a PR firm that offered him up.
Oh,
but you had a window of about 8 minutes.
What if we got Connor Scallions on the show? I would hate that.
Well, we'd ask him about his trip to Lincoln.
Mhm.
Did he enjoy his time at Nebraska?
Did you go eat anywhere?
All right. So yesterday you brought up to BC. Notre Dame USC made some news yesterday. They're not going to play anymore. People are upset. Everybody's looking how to assign blame. Everybody's at fault. What we benefit from, I think now that this has been resolved, maybe we will get the Big Ten schedule.
Yes.
Like
great.
either before the end of the year or early next year, because this game has been resolved that, USC is not involved in it. So now they can move forward with the Big Ten schedule. When we started, you had, quite frankly, in the 25 plus years of this radio station, one of the worst takes of all time about Notre Dame. Okay. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
It was voted on.
him.
It was voted on by listeners
Thought this was a
as
Ty
the
Williams.
worst take all time. And there have been some terrible takes, and I have a couple of them.
It was less of a take and more of a bad prediction.
Yeah, it was awful. Okay. And
we
you
really vote on
and
this?
also
Is this-
a year later, you never paid up the bet.
no, the bet was what was-
Drover.
No, the Drover bet was Indiana would beat Notre Dame.
Which one was would not score?
That was just called prediction.
That
He was
uh,
just getting his feet
yeah.
wet.
Yeah, I was
Okay,
just-
so I'm gonna set you up here really well,
He did pay you for
okay?
something.
Because you hate Notre Dame.
I've paid you. You have you're drinking a coffee today, and you have an apple fritter, which has paid up a bet that I didn't even lose. The bet was if you left a white monster in the bathroom, you had to give me
This
this
is a
stuff.
drink, kids.
And here's the thing: I didn't do it. Austin Jacobson did it, and yet you still got a coffee and apple fritter.
No, that was something else. I got $25 out of it. You still owe me $75.
I don't owe you $75. I never left the white monster in the bathroom.
I don't know. Austin has changed his story. Like he tried to be nice to you that day. He's gone back. There's a 30 for 30 on it.
And he's filling in for me on Blue Jay overtime on the 4th. Thanks, Austin.
You're not doing it on the 4th? That's a big game. That's Seton Hall.
I'm doing it on the 30th from my childhood bedroom.
Why can't you do it on
Nice.
the 4th?
Because if I don't have to do it from my childhood bedroom, I don't want to do it from my childhood bedroom.
What's wrong? We can see the bedroom.
All right, for all you that are going home for Christmas to sleep in your childhood bed, be like Matt.
Mhm.
What? Do a post game show?
We got
from there?
posters in there.
Can't you do it from somewhere in your house?
Honestly, the route. No, I can't.
How about
There's
you
the
do it
best
with
way-
Dad?
Dad doesn't know anything.
You guys
about
have
crypto.
electricity. You're the like one of the rare people in Skokie, Illinois that has internet trouble.
Well, so yeah, no, actually, and I don't know why Comcast sucks. I mean, or maybe I don't know if they're a sponsor of this radio station.
I don't
hope
think
not.
so.
They have failed our internet in my home for years and years and years. And I
I know
had
change is hard, but
I had a very
Mhm.
important interview at one point in my life, and it was literally cutting in and out of the interview because the internet was so bad.
See,
Get
but
the
now you're
job?
here.
I did get the job.
Oh, you're here.
what job was that?
That was the 1000 job.
Oh, okay.
Like I was literally on the phone with the guy who was like the head producer of like Chicago Bears games, and we were buffering. It was crazy.
All right.
But I have to get into. I got it all figured out. But yes, continue.
All right. We got third world problems.
He could go to a
Apologize.
What do you mean
Starbucks.
third
and-
world problems? Everybody's got internet issues. That's not third world.
Not anymore.
Mm-mm. Especially
anymore.
Google Fiber.
I had storage issues yesterday. I had to clear out 13 gigabytes of storage on my phone yesterday so it could properly work.
All right. They haven't won a national championship since '88. They don't play in a conference. Next year's schedule, they open at Lambeau against Wisconsin. They have Miami in South Bend on the 7th of November. Other than that, very manageable 26 schedule where they get a gift into the playoff. Now,
Yes.
to Notre Dame's credit, their future schedules is they do have some big names on their future schedule, like Florida and Indiana, Michigan State, Alabama.
be-
They have that 12-year deal with Clemson, but they have their own TV network. They are moneyballing like USC, the route to the playoff, but their playoff route is a little bit easier. Why isn't Notre Dame a villain of college football? Like they take more from college football than they're giving. Lou Holtz is not the head
Well,
coach
I
at
think
Notre
they're-
Dame anymore.
I think they're not a villain because
People
number
forget.
one, they're blue blood, and
We like Marcus.
and
Freeman.
number
Oh,
two,
Blue Bloods could be villains.
well, secondly, I think that there's like they've been doing this for so long now that people are just used to it. They're just numb to Notre Dame, like being an independent. I also think there is a little bit of And I'm not fully disagreeing with you here. I do think they probably should.
I was setting
get
this
more
up. You
tape.
hate Notre Dame.
Mhm.
I was giving you this is my gift to you before Christmas.
But
They should have kept Charlie
my thing
Weiss.
about
Yeah.
Notre Dame has never been about, like, honestly, if you go back and you look at the schedules of ND, like, there have been teams that are in conferences that have worse schedules than Notre Dame has. Like, Notre Dame, when Clemson was at the top, they were playing Clemson. Like, they were playing some pretty good teams fairly consistently. Did they get into? Yes. Have they had a couple of cupcake schedules? Absolutely. They did play 2 teams in the college football playoff this year. That's 2 more teams in the college football playoff than a lot of teams played. Okay. So I mean, I don't have a problem with their schedule as much as I just have a problem with their fans' attitude and their attitude about their program and the fact that they think they're God's gift to college football when in fact they have been the most overrated program of the last 25 years. And every time they have taken cupcake schedules and taken advantage of them, they've gotten exposed by actually good teams. That's my problem.
So Nicole Auerbach just tweeted this out. So part of USC finding out that Notre Dame, so they said yesterday, once we found out that Notre Dame had an automatic path into the playoff, essentially, we backed out. Y'all scared at USC. Nicole Auerbach just tweeted this out. A person with direct knowledge of the communications between the Big Ten office and the schools confirmed to NBC Sports that all 18 schools received the full language of the CFP MOU, which was unanimously supported by all current and incoming members in March of 2024. Keyshawn Johnson will be back on his podcast as he destroyed his alma mater yesterday. That news coming out contradicts what USC said, that they were going to do the scheduling, and then they found out, and they're like, oh!
You think Baveka was the one who told Auerbach, hey, by the way, here's what happened? You think that was her source? You think Freeman got on the phone with Nicole? Actually, no. They suck.
All right, Andy Kendi will stop by, final guest of 2025 on 1620 The Zone. All right. Again, happy holidays, everybody. A guy that will be spreading the cheer here locally and then out to Vegas is Mr. KTB, Andy Candy. Good morning.
Good morning. My kids do not like that Christmas song by the Waitresses.
Ooh,
Christmas rapping.
it's
They
one
say
of the
it goes on way
goats.
too long.
Yeah, you know what? It's been
what goes on way too long. It kind of drags.
yeah, it's been attached to more commercials now. I've noticed this holiday season.
Yeah. I actually don't mind it. It's got a nice little, fun
Yeah.
little throughout the year
Yeah.
theme, and there's a happy ending at the end. I mean, come on. You forgot Cranberries too? I mean, come on. Who doesn't like that?
What is you and your family's and your kids' opinion on It's a Wonderful Life?
Well, they get dragged into it. My sister is a huge Wonderful Life. Like, she does The Village and all that stuff.
Nice.
They kind of get dragged into it, the Wonderful Life thing. You know, it's fine. I can't tell you how many times I've fallen asleep to that movie.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
ridiculous.
It's a great take. You've had a lot of great opinions. That might be one of the best. Hey, before we go any further, I want you to explain, because I've told you this so many times, your Kennedy family tradition of the cheeseburgers that revolves around your parents. Rest in peace, wonderful people, great family you have, but the tradition that you have kept in the family with what you do on Christmas Eve.
Well, this is a great one. So back in the day, I'm one of 5. Okay. I'm the middle child. So evidently I was always clamoring for attention. Weird, right? So Christmas Eve was just mayhem at the Kennedy household. And by the time, because we opened our packages on Christmas Day, so everybody's just on fire by that time. And by that point, my mom had had enough. So one year she said, basically, screw this, we are going to McDonald's for Christmas Eve. And back then, I tried to explain to my kids, McDonald's was a big deal. If you got to go to McDonald's, that was a big deal, right? And to go on Christmas Eve, are you crazy? So not just cheeseburgers, but it was a full-fledged, styrofoam burger, holder thing. It was the whole fries, kit and caboodle. It was awesome. So throughout the years, it started when I was probably 3 or 4. So, 50 years later-ish, we're still doing it, but to a lesser extent. We've kind of evolved over the year where we have, some let's say more upscale offerings, if you will, some more traditional fare at the Christmas Eve table. But we've carried on the tradition that somebody in the family, which usually is me, always brings a sack of cheeseburgers that everybody gets at least, half or one, or maybe if you're like me, 2 cheeseburgers that we get to kind of cheers to my parents who both passed within a 7-week span of each other about 4 years ago. So it's kind of a bittersweet moment where we carry on the tradition. Now, we tweet McDonald's every year. How we have not come out of this with an NIL deal or some kind of sponsorship after all these years is beyond me. But we will tweet out a picture, we give cheers, and then we all take a big bite of the burger, and we honor my parents that way. How about that? It's a
Great.
long-winded story, but that's Christmas with the Candies, right?
And you're the 5 siblings. What a great tradition to carry on. Hey, before we get into your memories and stuff, so somebody who you're going out to Vegas with, Bill Shammer, will be with you, sat down with Troy Dannon on the heels of the Dylan Raiola decision. And I thought Troy was really, really honest. And Bill is a really good in those settings, like asking questions, and congratulations to him, who after the first of the year will be the main anchor. Anything strike you about that conversation between Bill and the athletic director?
Well, he touched on a lot of subjects, and this was a pre-planned meeting, so he had it on the calendar. Just so happened that the news broke, which was perfect timing for us. And so, when Bill and I chatted about it in the morning, we both said, just come out and ask him about it, because everybody's talking about this. Was it money? Was it this, that, and the other thing? I just thought that Troy's a pretty transparent person, and he knew the questions that were coming. Obviously he knows you're going to sit down with a local television station after Bill Raiola decides he's going to enter the transfer portal. You're going to get asked about it. I mean, that's just part of the deal. And I'm not convinced it wasn't a money thing, but Troy did say all the right things in that realm. And I thought another thing that kind of jumped out was that he said that there would be more names coming in terms of the portal. We've seen a little bit about that, but I just think that this is just where we're at in college football. It's wild, wild west. You've gone over it a million times.
Mm-hmm.
Until we get rein this thing in a little bit, it's going to be like this every year where you're going to need a roster sheet every fall. It's I don't love the way this is headed, but that's just the reality of what we're in. And now you look at the quarterback room after the bowl game and you're like, whoa, hey, anybody here? Hey, fellas, where'd everybody go? So that's really what it's going to be like moving forward. And, I thought there was other things that Bill hasn't shown yet, but, we do have an hour pregame, fellas. Let me plug this. Even though the Las Vegas Bowl is not on our air, let me be transparent about that. The Las Vegas Bowl is on at 2:30 Central Time on ESPN. However, on KTV from 1 to 2 o'clock, we will be bringing you live from Las Vegas the Las Vegas Bowl preview with Bill Sherritt, myself, Lauren Michelson, and our trusted photographer Ben Smith. And so he's going to do probably 2 segments with Troy from that interview because it was that good and that worthwhile. And even the stuff he said about the volleyball stuff, because that was on the heels of that just gut punch of a loss, was pretty interesting, and the value that volleyball tends to, where it lands in the hierarchy of Nebraska sports is pretty telling. And it's great to see a athletic director kind of read the room and know where, not the pecking order per se, but the importance of a sport like volleyball to the state of Nebraska. And I'll say it didn't surprise me one bit that Texas A&M won it all, because they got hot at the right time and they were the best team moving forward. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to look forward to with that Troy Danner interview.
Yeah, I think the line of the game is back to Nebraska being a 15.5-point underdog. I think some people have looked at the game and kind of, they wrote it off. They're like, it's going to be a loss. And sure, I'll watch because it's the Huskers, but you're not, on the edge of your seat necessarily. But my question to you is, Andy, let's say they do it. Let's say they win the game. Like, how much would that change how we look at the 2025 season?
I think it would be enormous. It would be enormous. It would be a huge blow to put out in the season and really kind of, you won't forget about the last 2 weeks of the regular season, but it certainly softens the edges, that's for sure. Now, the beauty of the situation with Nebraska's in is that nobody's expecting them to do anything but show up and play the game, right? I mean, does anybody think they're going to win this game? Probably not. So, no. I mean, just look at the line. I mean, that's one of the biggest lines of the first-round playoff games that you got. And so even with the opt-outs on both sides, it's still that way. So I think Nebraska has nothing to lose. I think it's actually from when you're looking at the matchup, from a perspective of you've got a new offensive line coach, you've got new influences on defense that will probably chime in to, Phil Snow and the group that's been there. And you got a head coach working with the defensive line. I think that this team is, the guys who stuck around to play this game are going to have a huge chip on their shoulder. And I think it's maybe a little closer than people are giving it credit for.
Yeah, it's an exhibition. But but I think there'll be a spark. Like I think some guys that have new position coaches, they might be doing a couple of different things. But as we transition into 2026, do you have a bold prediction surrounding Nebraska football in 2026 that you want to reveal on the 23rd of December, 2025?
The final guest of the
of
the show for the 2025. I'm honored, by the way. Honored. Glad that worked out that way. I'm going to say there'll be a quarterback starting opening day that's not on the roster.
Okay,
which isn't really a stretch, but I think that's where we're headed. They're going to go out and get a guy to compete with TJ Lateef, and whether or not TJ Lateef sticks around or not, that's another thing. But I liked his attitude, TJ, the other day. I mean, he's a quarterback that's not totally comfortable speaking to the media at this point of his career, and which lends itself to short, succinct answers. You get what you get from him, and I like his confidence. And but that being said, I think they're going to have to make some changes, obviously, in that quarterback room to surround TJ. Should TJ stick around? But obviously, the big you can go out and get is the both sides of the offensive and defensive lines. You got to strengthen those two parts up and then see what you get.
Hey, we'll get you out on this because you're going to go cover a Nebraska bowl game in a dome. We think it's the first time Nebraska's played in a dome since 2012. And now with Kansas City moving to Kansas, is there a dome that we like that is currently being used or is formerly being used? Is there a dome that we like in sports?
No. Whoa. Minnesota?
Yeah, it's a great question. Now, I hear big things about Minnesota. I hear great things about Minnesota. Now, I have not been in the new stadium at Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you, the bar was set pretty low with the Metrodome. I've been in that place many times covering football. So
Sure.
I got to believe U.S. Bank Stadium is much better. I would, from what I hear U.S. Bank Stadium could be the nicest dome out there. You know, it's kind of underrated, fellas, is Ford Field. I think Ford Field's kind of underrated.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a dome. You feel like you're in kind of a big building. You know? It
I
doesn't feel
totally
like a
agree
dome.
with you, Andy. I think that's the best
Yeah.
way of describing it. It feels homey. It feels like
Yeah.
like it feels like
Yeah.
you're in the family room a little bit when
Yeah.
you're playing at Ford
I agree.
Field. Yeah, I like
And
that.
I'll give you one more. Glendale's not terrible. Arizona. I think
Yeah,
Glendale's
Never been
okay.
there.
It looks
Glendale's okay.
Glendale looks hot. You know, it looks like it's like a bachelor pad a little bit. You know, it looks actually. I feel like Cliff
Yeah.
Kingsbury was living his own version of the stadium in a way.
Yeah. You know, that's a great stat, guys. I never even it did not occur to me. The last bowl game?
Yeah,
we think the last time Nebraska played indoors was the Big Ten championship in 2012.
because Gary was sitting here off air, Andy, and he goes, "When was the last time they played in the dome?" And I was going through my Rolodex, and I'm like, I think it's all the way back to the back to Lucas Oil.
And it's not like they played in a ton of domes. Like the Metrodome was in every other, was like non-con back in the day when
Sure.
Nebraska and Minnesota
Mhm.
played. Yeah, so they haven't played in a lot of dome stadiums or indoor.
Yeah, they played the Alamo Dome back in the day, but
Yeah.
that was pre-20. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
97
That's a
and-
really. Well, thanks for contributing to the pregame show that goes from 1
Thank
to 2
you.
on
Thank
New Year's
you.
Eve. That's a good little nugget. Thank you, my friend. That's my
Hey,
that's
no,
a great Christmas gift.
thank you to you, Lauren and Matt. Congratulations to him, by the way, and all the contributions this year. We appreciate it. Looking forward to a new year, but enjoy your time in Vegas for the second time in the calendar year, which not everybody gets.
That's right. It's my and I went once as a knucklehead. So this is 3. So my parents are questioning my sanity.
Hey.
My parents, my wife is questioning my sanity. That too.
Hey,
That too. My parents from above questioning my sanity.
hey, thank you, my friend.
Thanks. Merry
Uh,
Christmas, you guys.
Merry
Happy
Christmas.
New Year.
All right, that does it for the year. We're gonna take a little well-earned break. You guys all get the well-earned break away from us. Last live show. Again, we'll be back on the morning of the 5th with lots to discuss. We will do I believe a 1620 The Zone YouTube show on the 2nd.
Yeah, we'll make sure I roll out and we'll get a nice little marketing campaign for it and make sure that everybody wants to watch it.
How
can
about how
watch
will
it.
the internet connection be at the
it'll-
McMaster
It
household?
will be. We might have a brand new laptop by that time.
Yes.
So it might be raring and revving to go. I will go ahead and make sure we iron out some details and then we'll roll.
Let's
it out
go,
there.
family.
Let's go,
Safe
family.
travels home to Chicago. Have
Thank
a
you, my
great time
friend.
with your family. You as well, Jimmy, with the new edition this year.
You too.
Thank you,
too,
to,
Gary.
Thank you. Thank you again to everybody. Be safe. Live, laugh, punt. Enjoy the holiday season. I'll talk to you on Big Red Overreaction after the Utah game on the 31st. Until then, what a great 2025, bigger and better with 1620 The Zone in 2026. Crossover.